Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto's mother was Tsunade Senju, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. The porch of her new temporary home was Tsuande drinking a small plate of sake. As he looked out to the trees near to her, she saw her son 5-year-old son Naruto, whom she had been watching for the past 4 hours running up and down the tree he had been climbing by channeling his chakra from his feet. Tsuande could not help but smirk at all the energy that her son had. Most kids his age wouldn't have enough chakra to go up even a quarter ways up the tree, let alone be able to channel their small chakra reserves to their feet and even try to walk up the tree. They had began Naruto training when he was 4 and slowly increased the training little by little. At first they only had him running, but soon after they started him to teach him to read and how to channel chakra, do different exercises and wear weights. It had been a trouble getting him to settle down enough so to teach him to read, since like when he was a baby Naruto was still a very active child who did not like to stay still long. But eventually they were able to get his interest into reading by having plenty of pictures with animals on it since he enjoyed animals. Over time Naruto gained an interest in reading, especially if the books had pictures in it. Also, when they started to train Naruto in his chakra training, they learned that the best way to teach him was to visually show and explain it to him, so to keep his attention since he could be easily bored. But even still, when Naruto started to train to control and use his chakra, they learned 2 things. The first was that he had very high chakra reserves for a boy his age. Currently Naruto's chakra level was that of a young genin, and although that dose not seems very high, the fact that a 4-year-old boy had that level was astounding. When Tsunade asked Jiraiya about this, he said it was not unexpected for Jinchurikis to have high chakra levels. Due to them having a demon spirit inside them where their bodies would adapted to handle the strain by having their chakra coils thicken and reserves become larger, so they can handle the Excel chakra that would come from their bijus after being diluted by their seals. The second thing they learned was that Naruto had inherited her natural flawless chakra control. They learned this when Naruto was given his first chakra control exercise and to keep a leaf stuck on his head, in which he got it on the first go after it was explained to him. It was proven even further when he was able to channel his chakra to his feet and walk up on a tree with just his feet. This was surprise since in most cases whenever someone had large chakra reserves their control was not very good. While when someone had excellent chakra control they had small reserves, but Naruto had both without either of the negative effects. When Tsunade and Jiraiya learned this, it pushed away any remaining doubt about Naruto being a highly skilled ninja one day. The reason why Naruto was doing the exercise now was to help increase his stamina, not that it needed much improving since Naruto proved to be a stamina monster, and in the increase of his chakra reserves while at the same time keeping his control high as well. Okay Naru-chan, that enough for today. Why don't you take a break for today since you don't want to overexert yourself by training too much, said Tsunade as she saw her son was getting tired. But Ka-chan, pant. I can. Pant, still, pant, keep going, pant, said the clearly tired boy. Tsunade just smiled at her little boy trying to act tough. I know that Naru-chan, but why don't you and me go into town and have an ice pop since it's such a warm day and as a reward for working so hard? At this, little Naruto smiled and jumped up and yelled happily at having a treat, after which he and his mother went downtown. Not long after, Naruto and Tsunade were walking through town, each licking an ice pop. Tsunade had her special genjutsu on where everyone in town saw her as a medium-sized raven-haired woman with blue eyes, while Naruto just saw her as she usually was. As they walked by, Tsunade saw an open casino and decided to have a look around, where she and Naruto went in. Although Tsunade had sworn not to gamble away their money like she used to before she had Naruto, she did do a small bit of gambling by doing the slots and only spending a small amount. As they walked around the slot area, Tsunade saw a quarter on the ground and picked it up. She then decided that one go at the slots wouldn't hurt. Just when she was about to put in the coin, Naruto suddenly spoke up. Ka-chan, what are you doing? I'm just playing a game that grown-ups play for fun, replied Tsunade, since it was kind of true. Can I play? Asked Naruto, who was still licking his ice pop. At first Tsunade would have said no since Shizune would most likely lecture her about giving Naruto her bad gambling habits, but she decided that one go at the slots would not make her Naru-chan an addict. Okay Naru-chan, you can have one go, okay, said Tsunade, to which the young boy just nodded. She then showed him where to put the coin and then held him up so he could pull the lever. The reels in the machine started to spin for a few seconds before they started to slow down, where the first one stayed on the gold coin image, the second stayed on another gold coin and was followed by a third gold coin. After which the slot machine started to light up, the bells in the machine started ringing as well, where coins then started to fall out the machine. Naru-chan, you won, cried a shocked Tsunade. I did. Yay, said the boy happily. Can I do it again? He asked. Wheel, why not, it couldn't hurt, said Tsunade, thinking Naruto might as well as used his lucky streak while he had it. For the next hour Naruto kept playing the slots and every time he won. It was unbelievable. Tsunade had never heard at anyone being so lucky at gambling before in her life. Figures, while I get all the bad luck when it comes to gambling, but my kid has all the luck in the world and is natural gambler. This must be Kami bitch slapping me again like this. Though Tsunade annoyed. It was as she was thinking this that Tsunade quickly decided to try something else to see how lucky her son really was. Hey Naru-chan, how about we go try another game, said Tsunade. Okay, after which Tsunade quickly brought all the buckets that she had gotten to carry the coins Naruto won and ground them to be exchanged for chips. After then she then brought Naruto and the chips to the crap table, where she simplified the rules, where all he had to do was throw the dice and try and keep getting good numbers like 7 with the dice. After Tsunade had placed Naruto bets for him, he began to throw the dice like he was told, and like with the slots Naruto kept getting the numbers he needed and was cleaning house at the crap table. My little Naru-chan, a gambling genius, cried Tsunade happily as she hugged his son tightly when she was seeing how much money her son was winning. Naruto just struggled to breathe as his mother smothered him in between her two large mounds, much to the envy of the men who were watching Naruto play. After the dealer at the crap table had told them that they could no longer play there, Tsunade decided to take their winnings, a stagger 20 million ryo in chips, and went to the roulette table and put Naruto gambling luck to the true test. Okay Naru-chan, this is simple, all you have to do is tell Ka-chan what number to pick and money, we put the money on it, okay? Remember what Ka-chan said earlier, it all or nothing, said Tsunade, to which Naruto in understanding. Tsunade placed the boxes full of chips on the table, and just when she was about to ask Naruto what number, a familiar voice shouted out which make her cringe. Sensei. Several minutes earlier Shizune was traveled through the streets with her shopping with Tonton and was on her way home when she suddenly saw a large group of people in the local casino. As she walked by she heard some people mutter about some women and her kid were cleaning up in the casino. Deciding to have a look she went in, and when she did she saw the women was none other Tsunade with Naruto betting at the roulette, at which point she cried out angrily to her sensei. Why, Shizune, how it's going, spoke Tsunade like a kid who had its hand caught in the cookie jar. I was fine until I came in here to see what all the fuss was about and found my sensei using her son for gambling, spoke Shizune angrily. Oink, cried Tonton angrily at her mistress. Hey now Shizune, calm down, it not like that, you see. After Naruto's training I decided to treat him to an ice pop, and when we saw the casino I came to have a look and I found a quarter on the floor. After that I was just going to have one go when Naru-chan said he wanted to and I let him, thinking it wouldn't do any harm. When he did play he kept whining and whining at the slots and then at the crap table. He a gambling genius and has more luck than a 4-leaf clover, said Tsunade trying to explain herself. I don't what your reasons are you had no, said Shizune angrily before she was interrupted by Tsunade. But he won over 20 million ryo already, I don't care if he won, said Shizune before she stopped and spoke again, 20 million ryo, to which Tsunade just nodded. Shizune was close to fainted when she heard this, but before she could the man at the roulette table spoke. All bets are closed, one straight up bet, at which the two women turned to see that Naruto had made a bet by himself. Naru-chan, what did you do? Cried Tsunade. I did what you said, Ka-chan. I went all or nothing and beat all the money on number 2 red, replied Naruto happily, which caused his mother to cry in frustration and making her cruise herself for her poorly chosen words. As the roulette began to slow down the two women were biting their nails out of pure nervousness while Naruto just looked on happily, not truly understand what he had just done. As the ball began to slow down further and was hoping along the other slots. I can't watch, cried Shizune as she closed her eyes as her nerves couldn't take the suspense, and was quickly joined by Tsunade as she too closed her eyes, along with Tonton who was lying down and using her hooves to cover her eyes. As Tsunade did, she just saw the ball hoping into 0-0 black, and thinking that they lost, Tsunade was ready to hear the man say the house won. But instead of that, the man said, 2 red player wins and has broken the bank. At this, Tsunade popped open her eyes and saw that the ball had indeed landed on 2 red, and it must have hopped out of 0-0 black right when she closed her eyes and hopped into 2 red. Tsunade quickly raced over to her son and started to smother him in between her giant mounds again, much to the envy of the male population again, and cried how happy she was and proud of her little gambling genius son. Shizune on the other hand just fainted, since when she heard that Naruto won, she quickly calculated that on the odds of 36-1. Multiplying that to the 20 million that Naruto had won and bet in a single straight-up bet, which added up to Naruto winning over 720 million ryo. After they had got all the winning, they cashed out and sealed all the money into a scroll and quickly left. If they had stayed, they would have seen the casino owner crying, since his casino was ruined now. When they got home, Shizune berated Tsunade for taking Naruto and having him gamble for her, and told her that she was forbidden to take Naruto to a casino ever again, much to Tsunade's annoyance. She also had the money that Naruto won sent to Sarutobi so he could put it in Namika's account, since the money was his since he won it all. Although Tsunade did cry at the loss of all the money and all the things she could buy with it. Konoha the next day, currently sitting at his desk, the Sandaime Hokage was reading Jiraiya's newest book, Ika Violence, since today was one of the few days that he had no paperwork. As he was reading, there was a sudden puff, and when he looked away from his book, he saw one of Tsuande's slug summons on his table with a scroll on its back. Greeting Hokage-sama, I have a message from Shizune-san. Spoke the small slug. What you that message be then? She would like you to put the money in this scroll into the Namika's family account. If I may ask, how much is in this scroll? Asked the old Kage as he took the scroll. 720 million ryo. Replied the slug summon plainly. Okay, that's 720 miles, said Sarutobi as he was about to stand up, when he suddenly realized what he heard and fell down on the ground with pure shock. He quickly stood up and looked directly at the slug summon and shouted. How the hell did they get 720 million ryo? Young Master Naruto won it all when Tsuande-sama took him to a local casino. Replied the slug summon. She took a 5-year-old boy to a casino and he won over 720 million ryo by himself. Replied Sarutobi in disbelief, to which the summon only nodded. What the hell is she teaching that boy? Sighed the old man, who was now trying to think how he was going to explain this massive input of money to the bank manager, let alone Seiwa Genji, the man who manages the Namika's accounts businesses. After which the summon just left and the old Hokage got out of his seat to go to the bank, and as he did, he could not help but chuckle a little. It seems that young Naruto has not inherited you bad luck at gambling, Tsunade. In fact, he has the direct opposite in terms of gambling and you. I look forward to what other surprises young Naruto will have for us when he comes to Konoha, though Sarutobi. 1 month later, currently Tsunade was sitting in the living room reading a medical book in her new house, since they had to move out of the last town they were in, due to the fact that a 5-year-old kid winning 720 million ryo kind of draws attention to you. As Tsuande read the book, she could not but sigh, since today was her birthday and the only one who remembered it was Shizune, who got her this book. Although she was grateful for the book and that Shizune remembered her birthday, she was still a bit down since Shizune was the only one who remembered. Hence it would have been nice for someone else to remember and get her something like a nice bottle of sake, chocolates or flowers even. Just as Tsuande was about to continue to read her book, she suddenly heard a shout. Car-chan, where are you? Cried Naruto. I'm in here, Naru-chan. What wrong? Answered Tsunade. When Tsunade answered, Naruto quickly ran across the corner to enter the living. When Tsuande saw Naruto, she also saw him carrying a small Prunus cerulata bonsai tree in a small flower pot. Here, Car-chan, happy birthday, said Naruto, holding the small bonsai tree to his mother. At first, when Tsunade saw the small tree, she did not know what to say, but she soon got over her surprise and took the bonsai tree from her son and looked at it. The small tree had smooth bark with pink and with cherry blossom flowers surrounding its small branches. All in all, it was a very beautifully tree. Tsunade then began to get teary-eyed and quickly put down the bonsai tree and then grabbed Naruto into a smothering hug, to which the poor boy could barely breathe. Thank you Naru-chan, this is the best gift I've ever gotten, said Tsunade as she hugged her son tightly, who despite being nearly crushed to death by his mother smiled and making his mother happy. After a few minutes Tsunade let go of Naruto and put her bonsai tree on the windowsill, after which she then turned to her son. Naru-chan, who told you it was my birthday was today? Asked Tsunade since she knew Naruto could not have known it and someone must have told him and she had a guess who. Shizune-chan told me last week. Answered Naruto confirming what Tsunade guessed. And did she give you to the tree to me as a present? Asked Tsunade since she suspected that this was Shizune's way of cheering her up a bit, but to her surprise Naruto shook his head. No, I got it myself. Answered Naruto. Then did she give you the money or it? She asked since with the small little bit of pocket money she gave Naruto a week, she knew he did not have enough money to buy it himself, but to her surprise Naruto shook his head again. No, I grew it, replied Naruto. This of course confused Tsunade but then frowned. Naru-chan, now don't lie to me. But I'm not, I did grow it myself. Said the boy. Naru-chan, I know full well that you can't grow a tree like that in just 1 week. Replied Tsunade frowning more since she did not like her son lying to her. But I did Ka-chan, I really did, I tried doing it all week by myself when I bought seeds for it from the flower lady with the pocket money I had, and I finally got it a little while ago. Said the boy earnestly since he did not like being called a liar or having his mother angry at him. Then show me Naru-chan, said Tsunade as she folded her arms since she did not really believe him. Naruto then nodded and led his mother outside, where he then took out a seed packet for the bonsai tree from his pocket shorts. After which he then dug a small hole in the ground and put the seed into it, after which he then covered it with the soil he had dug out when making the hole. After which he then put both his hands over the spot he put the seed in and then started to channel his chakra into the ground where the seed was. What happened next made Tsunade go wide-eyed and start gapping like a fish out of water. Since as Naruto was channeling his chakra, a small sapling appeared between Naruto's hands and started to grow bigger and bigger until Naruto stopped. Where once he had and stepped away, Tsunade saw a small but fully grown and equally lovely Prunus cerulata bonsai tree standing next to him. NN Naru-chan, how on earth, did you do that, said the stunned Tsuande. Shizune-chan told me about how great-grandfather Hashirama could grow big giant trees with just his chakra. I tried that but I couldn't get it, so I bought some seeds and used my chakra to make it grow bigger. It took me a few days but I was able to do it today, and once I did I came to give you your gift. Said Naruto as if it was noting and did not truly realize what he had done. When Naruto finished explaining, Tsunade just continued to gap. Mokuton. Naruto has the power to use Mokuton, but how? That ability was lost when Hashirama Oji-san died and no one in our clan has ever been able to use ability since. So how is Naruto able to do it? Does it have something to do with the Kyuubi? I need to get Jiraiya here and now, though Tsuande, after which she quickly put on a happy face. I see Naru-chan, that a very nice trick you learn by yourself. Why don't we go inside now and have a nice bowl of ramen, okay? Yeah, ramen, cried Naruto happy since he loved ramen. Naruto wouldn't be Naruto without his love for ramen. Oh, and Naru-chan, let's keep you little trick our little secret for now, okay, said Tsunade. Okay, said Naruto not really understanding, after which he and his mother went inside. A few days later, after a few days since the incident with Naruto using Mokuton, Tsunade was able to make contact with Jiraiya through her summons and told him that she needed to speak to him imminently. Soon after, Jiraiya arrived in the town that they were staying in and came through the window right when Tsuande, Naruto and Shizune along with Tonton were finishing lunch. When Jiraiya entered the room he was quickly covered in smoke, after which once it lifted they could say he was standing on a medium-sized toad. Listen up, you chicks. Open up your beady little eyes and take a good look. Behold the divine ninja Jiraiya, spoke Jiraiya as he was doing his introduction dance, but before he could finish Naruto spoke up. Hi Yarero Senin, this caused Jiraiya to lose his balance and fall flat on his face in front of them. This in turn caused everyone to burst out laughing at Jiraiya's expense. I told you brat, stop calling me that, whined Jiraiya at his wounded pride since his cool introduction dance was ruined by Naruto outburst. But why? Both Ka-chan and Nei-chan say that you're a pervert, and you said it yourself, you are a pervert and you are a senin, so that means you're Ero Senin. Said Naruto. He got you there pervert, chuckled Tsunade while Shizune giggled and Tonton oinked in agreement. I'm not a pervert, I'm a super pervert, cried Jiraiya, and he did a ridiculous-looking pose which caused everyone else to have a large sweat drop behind their heads. Jiraiya then decided to change the subject from him and to why Tsunade had wanted to speak to him so badly. So Haim, what is so urgent that you needed to see me so quickly, asked Jiraiya. Naru-chan, can you show Erosenin your little trick, asked Tsunade, who was smirking at Jiraiya's indignant yell. Okay, replied Naruto as he, Tonton, Shizune, Tsunade and Jiraiya went outside, where Naruto then dug another hole in the ground next to the Prunus cerulata bonsai tree that he grew earlier for Tsunade. After which he then repeated the same process as he did before when she showed it to his mother. When Shizune saw this, she could not help but be surprised, since although Tsunade had already told her of Naruto abilities, it was still surprising to see Naruto being able to use the same legendary ability as the Shodaime Hokage. But as surprised as Shizune was, Jiraiya was utterly flabbergasted, since even though Naruto was the Shodaime great-grandson, he never expected for Naruto to have the Shodaime Mokuton abilities. Since it was long believed that despite it having all the characteristics of a bloodline, it was never classified as one, since neither Tsuande, her brother, nor their father or of the Shodaime other relatives had inherited it, hence it was just believed to be a mutation. This changes everything, thought Jiraiya. Naru-chan, you go play with Tonton for a little while I talk to Jiraiya. Okay, said Tsunade as she smiled down at her son. Okay Ka-san, come on Tonton, let's play tag and you're it, said Naruto as he ran off. Tonton just went, oink, and went off to play with Naruto. When Naruto and Tonton had left, Tsunade then turned to Jiraiya with a serious look on her face. You can see why I wanted to talk to you immediately, said Tsunade, and turned to face Jiraiya, who had an equally serious face and just nodded on what Tsunade had said since he was in deep thought. Jiraiya, is this an effect of the Kyuubi being inside Naruto, asked Tsunade. No, I don't believe so, since although there has never been a Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi before, I'm still certain that isn't a side effect of Naruto having the Kyuubi inside of him, since it doesn't match the abilities that the Kyuubi is known to have. Although Jinchurikis are each given special abilities by their bijus, for example the Ichibi no Shukaku Jinchurikis always have the ability to control and manipulate sand. But in Naruto's case no, since the Kyuubi abilities have no connection to nature or Mokuton but your clan dose, hence I believe Naruto has just reawakened the Mokuton ability. But how is that possible? Mokuton is a mutation that only appeared in my grandfather, it isn't a bloodline, replied Tsunade. Well, it seems that we were wrong, since it's the only answer as to why Naruto has it, spoke Jiraiya. Then why is it that my grandfather was the only person to be able to have it? Why didn't my father, Nawaki, myself inherit it from him, or any of the other members of my clan have the ability to use Mokuton as well? Asked Tsunade. The only reason I can think of is something that I read a while back when I was training in Myobokuzen, during which I came across an ancient record written by a sage long back when the great shinobi clans were only being founded. In the scroll it spoke how when the bloodlines were first showing up, it said that the bloodlines were unstable and many of the children of bloodline holders did not receive their parents' bloodline. It was not until a few generations more after the first bloodline holders of each bloodline did the bloodlines finally stabilize so that the other generations of the clans would have them. This can explain how not everyone in a clan with a bloodline can receive and use their clan's bloodline, since it may have not stabilized in certain people. The Uchiha clan is a prime example of this, since only a quarter of its members can use the Sharingan, since it was only the ancestors of that part of the clan who bloodline finally stabilize enough for it to be passed down to them. Spoke Jiraiya and continued. My guess is that your grandfather was the first person to be born with the Mokuton ability, and like with the first bloodline users, the Mokuton bloodline was too unstable to be passed on to his descendants like your father, your brother and you Tsunade. But it seems that the Mokuton ability has finally stabilized with Naruto, hence why he's the one to have it. Finished Jiraiya. Tsunade just nodded, since it made sense, and as a medic she knew a lot about genetics, and how some genetic traits are not always inherited by everyone in a family or clan, especially if certain genes were unstable. I'm also afraid that now with Mokuton, Naruto is in even greater danger than he was before, spoke Jiraiya again, which Tsunade frowned and nodded in agreement, while Shizune just looked confused and decided to ask why. But Jiraiya-sama, why is Naruto now in more danger with Mokuton? The reason is because when word reaches the other villages and certain organizations like the Akatsuki, they will come after Naruto, since he would be very useful to the Akatsuki, with his Mokuton powers. Especially if he is properly trained in it, he could help the Akatsuki greatly by subduing the other Jinchurikis, by using his Mokuton powers to suppress their Biju's powers, making them easier for the Akatsuki to capture them. Not to mention other villages would want him to use him as a weapon to use against other Jinchurikis, since the power of the Shodai Mokuton is well known by all, where it could match even the Sharingan in terms of powers and certain special abilities. They would want it even more if I'm right about the Mokuton finally stabilizing and becoming an official bloodline where Naruto could pass it on to his future children. In which case they would use him as a breeder to make entire clan of Mokuton users, where they would have an entire clan with the power to suppress Bijus and controls them. Something that many villages would stop at noting to have, and if they could not have it they would have Naruto killed to keep others from having that kind of power. It would be even worse if they found out that Naruto was also the Jinchuriki for the Kyuubi, the strongest of all the Bijus. Because if you combine the power of a Jinchuriki that contains the strongest of Bijus inside him, with the power of Mokuton which can suppress Biju's powers and control them, you get a force that could be virtually unstoppable. In which every village in the elemental continent would be after Naruto and wouldn't stop until either they kidnap him and gain control of him or kill him and keep him from becoming a major threat to them. The Akatsuki would even pounce on him with everything they had, since Naruto could very well ruin whatever plans they have with the Bijus. Spoke Jiraiya. Shizune paled at the thought of her godson, little brother, nephew being in now greater danger than before. Tsuande just frowned deeper and nodded in agreement, since she had come to the same conclusion as Jiraiya had when it came to Naruto's new ability when she waited for Jiraiya to arrive. So what do we do now? Asked Shizune. We have to increase and speed up Naruto's training more than ever now, since in a couple of years Naruto will need to be as strong as he can be to fight off enemies that will be coming after him sooner or later. Said Jiraiya. Should we inform the Sandaime Hokage about Naruto having Mokuton? Said Shizune. No, we keep him in the dark about it, since the fewer people know about this the better. Since there might be a chance that someone like Tenzo could intercept the message or somehow learn about it if we tell Sensei. Beside, when Naruto does eventually reveal that he has Mokuton to the village, Sensei will have the excuse of not knowing and he wouldn't have to deal with Danzo or his supporters on the council, trying to usurp his position over how he didn't inform them about Naruto abilities. Said Jiraiya. Do we really have to reveal Naruto-chan abilities to village Jiraiya? Can't we just keep it secret? Asked Tsuande. We have no choice, Haim. Naruto will need to learn properly control and master his Mokuton abilities if he going to stand a chance in the future. We can help him as best as we can, but still he won't be able to fully master or control his Mokuton abilities unless he gets proper training in it. Answered Jiraiya. But how can he get training there? Naruto-chan is the only Mokuton user in the entire world, said Tsunade. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Haim. There is one other, answered Jiraiya with a slight sigh. What? Jiraiya, you're not making any sense. Other than Naruto-chan, my grandfather was the only other user to be able to use Mokuton and he dead. Replied Tsuande. There is one other, said Jiraiya. Who? Said the annoyed Tsunade, who was getting annoyed with being kept in the dark. You see, back before Sensei discovered Orochimaru's experiments on the people and shinobis in Konoha to develop techniques that would grant him immortality, Orochimaru stole 60 infants and injected them with the Shodaime Hokage DNA in the hopes of recreating the Shodaime Hokage and his Mokuton. But before he could finish his work he was forced to leave Konoha, since Sensei found out that he was behind the missing shinobis, civilians and infants. Out of the 60 infants that Orochimaru stole and injected the Shodaime Hokage DNA into, only one survived and received the ability to use the Shodaime Hokage Mokuton powers. Replied Jiraiya sadly, since that event had shown how far his former friend and teammate had fallen just to gain power. But Tsunade and Shizune were shocked and horrified at the information, especially Tsunade, since she didn't think that even Orochimaru would do such a thing. But she had been wrong. Tsunade could not help but feel sick at what Orochimaru had done and swore if she ever saw the bastard she would skin him alive with her bare hands. Since as a mother and a medic the very idea of experimenting on children in such a way turned her stomach. Jiraiya, why the hell wasn't I told about this? Said Tsunade angrily, since the idea of Orochimaru desecrating her grandfather's grave and using his DNA to experiment and murder innocent children made her furious. I'm sorry Tsunade, but you had left the village long ago and the whole event was classified top secret. I only know because Sensei told, since he knew I was trying to track down Orochimaru, and he believed that I needed to know exactly what Orochimaru had done in the village. And who exactly is the child that survived Orochimaru experiments and gained my grandfather's Mokuton abilities? Asked Tsuande. The kid's name is Tenzo. He's 20 now and proven himself to be quite a ninja since he graduated out of the academy at age 6 and made Chunin a few months later. He's even one of Konoha's top Anbu and is one of Sensei's most trusted operatives. Replied Jiraiya. And how skilled is he in using Mokuton? Asked Tsunade, although she was impressed with Tenzo's skill if what Jiraiya said was true. According to Sensei, he completely mastered the Mokuton jutsus that he learned from your grandfather's scrolls in the Senju clan library, although cannot use the Mokuton techniques to its full potential. Hence his full power pales in comparison to that of your grandfather. But despite that, he can help Naruto greatly in training in how to use it, and possibly Naruto will be able to surpass him and use Mokuton to the same level as your grandfather could. Which it would be very likely since he is a pure-blooded Senju and the directed descendant of the Shodaime Hokage, hence why he would be so valuable to certain people. Finished Jiraiya. After Jiraiya's explanation, Tsunade just sighed, although she did not like the fact that her sensei went and took scrolls belonging to her grandfather, from her clan's secret library. She understood why he did it and knew he would not abuse that privilege and return the scrolls back to the library. She then looked over at her son as he played with Tonton without a care in the world. She wanted nothing more than for Naruto to have a long, peaceful and quiet life where he could grow up happy. As well as have a family one day when he was older and live with them happily without having to worry about enemies attacking them or going through the hardship that he would as a shinobi. But Tsunade knew that would never happen, and now with his Mokuton powers his life now just got a whole lot harder now. But regardless, she would help her son no matter what the cost to her and make sure that he becomes strong enough to defend himself and those he care about, and she would make sure that he would live a long and as happy a life as possible. I hope I can count on your help when training Jiraiya, because he going to need all the help he can get. Said Tsuande. Of course I do whatever I can, since I swore to Minato that I would train the boy when the time came. Answered Jiraiya. I will help too, Tsuande-sensei, and even though I might not be as much help to him as you both, but I will help Naruto in any way I can. Spoke Shizune. Thank you, Shizune, I knew I could count on you, said Tsunade. So when should we start? Asked Jiraiya. We start tomorrow. We'll let him have today off, since he's not going to have much time to be a kid for a while and he might as well enjoy it when he can. Said Tsunade, to which both Jiraiya and Shizune nodded and watched Naruto play with Tonton along with Tsunade. 2 months later, ever since Naruto revealed to Tsunade and Jiraiya that he had inherited his great-grandfather Mokuton ability, Naruto was trained even harder than he was before. Tsunade helped him with his chakra control exercises, not that he needed much help since he had inherited her natural flawless chakra control, where he was now walking on water and was balancing small tin objects like a dull kunai on the tips of his fingers. She also helped Naruto with his physical training, where she increased his weight little by little and had him do lots of running and different exercises. Tsunade also planned to help Naruto with his fighting skills, where when he was a bit older she would put him through her special dodge training, much to Jiraiya and Shizune worry. Shizune helped Naruto how to aim and throw senbons, shurikens and kunais, as well as help him improve on his reading and writing. She was also planning on helping Naruto to study medical books when he go a little older, so to understand them better, since Tsuande wanted to train Naruto to be a medic. So that if he was ever hurt he could heal himself, since he had the control needed to make a medic, and with the proper training and if they start early enough where they get Naruto settled in to become a medic nin, he would make a fine medic. Jiraiya was now just planning on helping Naruto to train by helping him to learn jutsus, where he planned to teach him just the basics like Henja's transformation technique, Shunshin no Jutsu, body flicker technique, Kawarimi no Jutsu, body replacement technique, and Bunshin no Jutsu, clone technique. After Naruto had finished mastering them and be able to use them in the right types of combinations, he then planned to teach Naruto a few more slightly more powerful jutsus when he got older. He did it this way since Jiraiya knew it did not matter how many different highly powerful jutsu a person have, if they did not know how to use them correctly then they were useless. Also he knew that if a person completely masters the basics and knows how to use them correctly then they would nearly unstoppable. Jiraiya also claimed that when Naruto got a little older he would teach him Fuinjutsu, and with any luck the kid would be like his old man and be a genius at it. It was at this time now that Jiraiya had arrived on Naruto's 6th birthday to see Naruto and start to train him in jutsus. But when he arrived he found out that Naruto wasn't training today, instead he had the day off, and was celebrating his birthday with Shizune, Tonton and his mother. When Jiraiya arrived at the house he found Tsunade and Shizune together at the house cleaning up after their little celebration of Naruto's birthday. When he asked where Naruto was they told him that he was out in the backyard playing with Tonton again, with his new toy kuni and ninja mask that he got from Shizune and his new ninja teddy that he got from Tsunade. When Jiraiya went out he saw Naruto was playing ninja with Tonton, where he was chasing Tonton around with his ninja mask on and carrying him toy kunai and ninja teddy with him. "Hey brat, happy birthday," cried Jiraiya, getting Naruto attention. When Naruto heard him he turned to see Jiraiya weaving and smiling at him. He took off his mask and ran over to Jiraiya. As Naruto was wearing a small white short sleeve shirt with a spiral design on its front and wore blue shorts. Naruto had also changed a bit from in the last 2 months. He had grown a little bigger, and his whisker birthmarks that he had gotten when the Kyuubi was sealed into him were gone. Jiraiya theorized that when Naruto's awakened his Mokuton bloodline, his bloodline negated the physical effects that the Kyuubi had on his body since the Mokuton power did suppress Biju chakra. Oh hey Ero Sennin, this of course caused Jiraiya to face fault down onto the ground, but he quickly got up and started to yell at Naruto. "Damn it brat, I told you not to call me that," cried the toad hermit. "But why it true and it's fun," giggled Naruto while Jiraiya just mumbled about youngest today showing no respect to their elders. Ero Sennin causing Jiraiya to twitch his eyebrows in annoyance. "Did you come to play ninja with me?" asked the young blonde. "Sorry to say brat, but no I didn't. I came to tell you that I going to staying with you, Shizune and your mom for a little while again since I going to help you in your training," said Jiraiya. "Oh, and what are you going to be training me in Ero Sennin?" asked the boy since Naruto did not mind doing training since he found it fun. "I going to be training you in jutsu," said Jiraiya, which caused the young boy to start shouting in excitement since he had wanted to learn cool new jutsus but his mother wouldn't teach him any. "So what are you going to teach me?" "Ha, ha, ha. Is it going to be some super cool water jutsu like Great Uncle Tobirama? Or a jutsu that will let grow big gigantic trees like Great Grandfather Hashirama? Or some super cool fire jutsus like Ka-chan told me Hiruzen Oji-san can do?" asked Naruto excitedly while he was jumping up and down. "Sorry brat, but you're nowhere near ready for those kind of jutsus. I going to teach you how to do henjas, Shunshin no Jutsu, Kawarimi no Jutsu and Bunshin no Jutsu. When you fully mastered those and can use them in the right types of combinations I will teach you some more," said Jiraiya. Whined Naruto since he had wanted to learn loads of cool jutsus. "Now I was going to teach you how to do Shunshin no Jutsu, but since it's your birthday we're going to leave that till tomorrow since your mom told me that you have the day off today," said Jiraiya. "Why," said Naruto since he was still down about not learning any super cool jutsus. "Hey brat, don't be so down, I got a present for you," said Jiraiya, which caused the boy to smile immediately since every kid likes getting presents. "Here," said Jiraiya, taking a small brown paper package wrapped with twine out of his robe and handed it to Naruto. "Thanks Ero Sennin," said the boy, taking the package and ignored the grumbling from Jiraiya about youngest today. "Now enjoy brat, I see you later. I have to met some who helping me with my research for my next book," said Jiraiya as he giggled perversely. "Research? What that, and can I come?" asked Naruto since he did not understand and though it might be fun. "Sorry brat, you can't. It grow up stuff, maybe next time when you're older," said Jiraiya quickly since even he had morals when it comes to taking little kids with him on his research. Besides, he knew that if did something like that Tsunade would beat him within an inch of his life and have her slug summon Katsuyu melt off his balls with her acid. "Okay," replied Naruto as we went off to open his present, while Jiraiya shunshined away. 10 minutes later in town, Jiraiya was in a small alley near the town local hot spring waiting for the person he had arranged to meet her. Soon enough a young short brown-haired man with brown eyes and wearing a white shirt and trousers came out of the entrance of the hot spring, and quickly ran over to the small alleyway that Jiraiya was waiting in. "So did you get them?" asked Jiraiya eagerly. "Yeah, I got them, but I nearly caught a few times when I was taking the photos," said the man, holding up over 3 dozen photos of different young girls and women in the hot spring, wearing nothing but towels or nothing at all. The young man who took the photos was a towel boy who worked in the hot springs collecting the towels of the women after they had finished in the hot springs and gotten dressed. Jiraiya had met the boy when he was in the town on his way to Tsuande's house and quickly learned that the young man was a fan of his books, and he also learned that he worked in the local hot springs. So naturally Jiraiya made a deal with the young man where in return for a little payoff, the boy would take photos of all the different young and attractive ladies who went into the hot spring for Jiraiya. Jiraiya quickly grabbed the photos and started to look through them. He then began to grin perversely and developed a large nosebleed and began to drool a little. The young man coughed loudly to get Jiraiya's attention away from the photos and onto him. I believe Jiraiya-sama, you owe me something, since I held up my end of the deal, spoke the young man. You're right, I do, said Jiraiya as he then quickly took out another small brown paper package wrapped with twine and handed it to the young man, who took it eagerly and began to quickly rip open the package. Pleasure doing business with you, said Jiraiya as he began to walk away and look back at the photos, thinking about all the different types of inspiration these photos would give him. But before he could fully walk away, he was stopped by a sudden cry from the young man. Is this some kind of joke? Cried the young man angrily. What are you talking about? Asked Jiraiya as he turned back to the man. I mean, this isn't what we agreed upon, said the man holding up a book to Jiraiya's face. The book read, The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi. Wait a minute, this is the book I gave Naruto for his birthday, but if this is it, then that means the book I gave Naruto was, oh dear sweet Kami no, thought Jiraiya in his mind as he realized what he had done and quickly snatched the book from the man and ran with a speed that would make Guy look slow even without his weights. All the while ignoring the angry cries of the young man about noting giving him what they had agreed upon. Several minutes later at Tsuande's home, as this was happening, Tsunade was sitting down and was about to get ready for a nice nap, while Shizune was finishing cleaning up in the kitchen and Tonton was lying down next to the chair she was sitting on. But before she could fully settle down, she suddenly heard a cry. Car-chan, where are you, Car-chan? After which Naruto then came into the living room carrying a book in his hand. What's wrong, Naru-chan? Asked Tsunade. Ero-senin gave me this book for my birthday, but I can't read it very well since there are lots of words on it that I can't understand, and the pictures are full of people doing funny things together, said the boy. Well, come over here, Naru-chan, and I read you the story, said Tsunade as Naruto went over to her and sat on her lap, while she began to read the page that Naruto had left open for her to read. Katara began to dress the wounds that Shien had after his fight with the Dark Warrior Ashi. As she dressed his wound, Shien suddenly turned around and caressed her face gently with his large hand. As he did, Katara then began to caress his chest gently with her small gentle hand. As they began to feel one another's body, Shien then suddenly grabbed hold of her chin, and kissed her deeply, pouring in all the passion he could muster and felt for her from the moment he first set eyes on her. At first Katara was caught by surprise by Shien's kiss, but she quickly got over it, and began to kiss Shien with just as much passion as he was and began to pour all her heart and emotions that she had into the kiss. As the kiss deepened, Shien began to explore Katara's body with his hands, where he then began to loosen her sash that was around her waist, after which he began to remove the upper portion of her kimono to reveal her. It was there that Tsunade stopped reading the book to her son and read it silently to herself of a minute or so, where she then realized what just she was about to read to her innocent baby. Tsunade then quickly skipped to a few pages ahead to where the pictures for the book were, and saw that what they were showing, she quickly covered her son's eyes so he could not see the images of the detailed various adult images. Car-chan, what wrong? Why aren't you reading the story? What's happening and why won't you let me see the picture? Asked the boy as he squirmed in his mother's arm and tried to get her hands off from covering his eyes, but Tsunade would not allow it. Tsunade then quickly turned to the cover of the book to see exactly what Jiraiya had given her son for his birthday, and what she had been reading to him, although she had an idea what it was. When she turned the book, she read the cover, Ica Paradise, limited colored pictured edition, with author autograph, exactly what she had thought. That damn perverted excuse for a life form. I warned him what would happen to him if he tried to corrupt my Naru-chan and turn him into a pervert like him. When I get my hand on him, not even an entire army of medics will be able to heal him once I done with him, though Tsunade furiously as she thought all the different ways he could torture and kill a certain toad pervert she knew and thought about which would be the slowest and most painful way to torture and kill him. All the while as Tsunade was thinking of this, Naruto had finally gotten out of his mother hold and got her hands off his eyes. He tried to see the pictures in the book again but could not since his mother had closed the book. He then tried to get his mother attention, but she was too caught up in the different ways she would torture and kill Jiraiya to pay attention to him. And as if the heavens themselves were answering Tsunade praise, Jiraiya suddenly appeared in the living. Naruto, where are you? I gave you the wrong bow, spoke Jiraiya panic-like, but stopped when he saw Naruto sitting on his mother's lap with her holding the book. It was then that Jiraiya knew he was too late and that he was dead man. When Jiraiya appeared, Tsunade slowly turned around to face Jiraiya, with a look in her eyes that was so frightening that it would have made the devil himself shit himself. The point was proven since Jiraiya nearly did so himself. She also had a smile on her face that was far too sweet, and made her look all the more sinister looking than their old teammate Orochimaru could ever look. Well Jiraiya, what a coincidence, I was just thinking about you, said Tsunade all too sweetly, which made Jiraiya shiver in fear and wanted to run as far away as possible, but couldn't since he was frozen with pure terror. All the while as this was happening, Naruto had gotten off his mother lap when she stood up and was now watching what was happening since he did not really understand what was going on. Is there something wrong, Ero Sennin? Did you met the friend you said you were going to met for your research? Asked Naruto. Well, I don't kkk no w what your tt taking about and Naruto, said Jiraiya nervously since he didn't want to get into any more trouble with Tsunade that he was in now. You know Ero Sennin, that friend that you said would help you for your research for your book, you even said that you take me with you next time, said Naruto, who had he noticed he would have seen the dark flames that were now sprouting from his mother's eyes, and Jiraiya about ready to wet himself, who was also silently cursing Naruto for opening his big mouth. It was after this revelation that Tsunade knew that her son was far too young to see the horrors that she was about to unleash upon Jiraiya, and decided to call Shizune in to take Naruto away for a while. Is there something wrong, Tsunade-sensei? Asked Shizune as she came out of the kitchen to see a petrified Jiraiya who was sweating profoundly, and a sinister-looking Tsunade with an all-too-sweet smile on her face. Oh, noting Shizune, I was just wondering if you could take Naruto out to town for a little while I have a little chat with Jiraiya here about his choices in gifts to Naru-chan here, replied Tsunade sweetly. When Tsunade had finished speak, Shizune just had a confused look over her face, since she did not understand what Tsunade was talking about. But as soon as Tsunade held up the Ika book to Shizune, she realized what she meant. After which Shizune turned to glare angrily at Jiraiya for trying to turn her godson, little brother-nephew into a pervert. After glaring at the petrified Jiraiya for a minute or so, Shizune then turned and kneeled down to Naruto, who was still watching this in confusion. Naru-chan, how about you and I going downtown have some ramen at the restaurant in town? At this, Naruto face immediately lit up with excitement at having his favorite food, since his mom told him he could only have ramen once a week. Since she said it was good for him and that if he ate nothing but that then it would stunt his growth. Yay, ramen, cried Naruto happily and was about to go with Shizune when he stopped and turned to Jiraiya and his mother. Ero Sennin, Ka-chan, aren't you coming with us? Asked the boy. Jiraiya, deciding that this was his best and only chance of escape, quickly came out of his petrified state. Sure thing Naruto, and the ramen will be on me, spoke Jiraiya quickly and tired to run off to town so to avoid Tsunade beating. But before he could run away, Tsunade caught Jiraiya by the collar and kept him in place even despite the fact that he kept trying to run, but Tsunade's grip was iron tight and she just slammed Jiraiya down onto the floor hard. You go ahead Naru-chan, Jiraiya and I are going to play a little game called Operation, said Tsunade with a sadistic smile on her face that would have scared even Orochimaru. Oh okay Ka-chan, come on Tonton, you can come too, said Naruto as he went off with Shizune, with Tonton getting up and crying, oink, and following after Naruto and Shizune. No, wait Naruto, take me with you too, screamed the pervert as his fingernails scratching up the floor as Tsunade dragged him into the next room and then throwing him into the corner of the room. After which the toad hermit began to pray for the heavens to take him now into their sweet embrace, but sadly they weren't listening right now and were just going to sit back and enjoy the show. As Tsunade's towering figure was standing over the cowering Jiraiya, who was hunched back against the corner wall try to plead for mercy, they heard Naruto cry out as he left the house with Shizune. Have fun Ka-chan with Ero Sennin, oh. I will Naru-chan I will, chuckled Tsunade maniacally over the cowering Jiraiya. CC come on Haim, it was an AA accident, HHH honest, why you know me, pleaded Jiraiya as she tried to reason with Tsunade, but unfortunately for Jiraiya Tsunade was not in a reasonable mood. Oh, I know you Jiraiya all too well, and it would be just like you to try and corrupt my sweet innocent little Naru-chan and become a pervert like you, said Tsunade, and she towered over Jiraiya like she was the Shinigami itself. Soon enough, for miles around, people could hear the terrified screams of Jiraiya as well as screams of pain as he screamed to the heavens. A few hours later, Naruto, Tonton and Shizune would return from town and find Tsuande sitting down enjoying a drink of sake and what looked like some kind of deformed human. That was in a heap across from Tsunade, who barely even looked human anymore, and by the way it continued to groan in pain. It gave the impression that its very existence right now was full of nothing but consistent pain and suffering. It was later on that they learned that the deformed creature was Jiraiya after Tsuande had finished with him. All in all, it was just another day with Tsunade's family. 2 years after Naruto had revealed his Mokuton abilities, Tsunade, Tonton, Shizune and Naruto were now staying in a small village in Oni no Kuni, Demon Country. The village was a quiet and small village that was positioned in a small valley with a large forest north of it, a medium-sized river that flowed gently down out of the valley south of it, and with crops and fields west of the village where the farmers grew their food for the village. The place had been a perfect spot for the group, since it was quiet and out of the way of most places, and the village had no real medic. Many of their old and young were suffering for a small disease that affected people with a low immune system, which resulted in them being bedridden and unable to eat properly for several weeks. But thankfully, when Tsunade arrived, the problem was resolved in a matter of a few days. As the people in the village were busy doing the daily activities, they suddenly heard loud explosions and could see large dust clouds coming from the other edges of the forest north of the village. Normally, if the villagers saw this, they would have been concerned about it and believed that they were under some kind of attack. But they had grown used to seeing such thing after the first few weeks of the arrival of Tsunade, Tonton, Shizune and Naruto, although they did not know that it was Tsunade since she still had her genjutsu henge over her and Shizune, and they went by different names. Since this had come to be a common occurrence to outside the village at this time, they had learned that at this time Tsunade would train her son Naruto in her special training exercise at this time. With Tsuande and Naruto, dodge, shouted Tsuande as she threw a massive dodge ball at Naruto, who barely dodged it. Naruto had grown a good bit over the time. He was still quite skinny, but despite that he was quite strong for his age thanks to his training, and had lots of energy. Naruto wore a short-sleeve green shirt, with black short pants and brown sandals. This type of training had been a common thing to be seen going on between Naruto and Tsunade in the past few months. Since when she first saw that Naruto had inherited her natural flawless chakra control, she hoped that with this training Naruto would gain her superhuman strength. Naturally, when Jiraiya and Shizune first heard Tsunade saying that she was now going to have Naruto go through her special training, they became very concerned for Naruto's safety and well-being. But fortunately, Naruto had two things going for him. One was that thanks to his high stamina and all the running around that he did when he was younger had given him excellent reflexes and good speed, for a kid his age, so that he could dodge the balls quickly without getting hit and not get tired from doing it for several hours. The other was the only real side effect that he got from having the Kyuubi inside of him. The Kyuubi had given him a quick healing factor, where Naruto could recover from chakra exhaustion very quickly, and most wounds he would heal within minutes if not a few hours, depending of how serious the wound was. This had helped Naruto greatly since it allowed him to survive Tsunade's training with little effect, especially when it came to taijutsu training with his mother. Since when Tsunade did taijutsu training with Naruto, she used her full power on Naruto, where he mainly dodge and try and counterattack at the same time, while wearing specially designed gravity weight seals that Jiraiya given him to wear most of the time. Needless to say, Naruto usually returned home with broken bones of a lot of bruises, but regardless of them the training was working, since Naruto's speed was increasing dramatically and his taijutsu style was improved as well. Tsunade even stated that the way he was going, Naruto would soon have a firm grasp of her superhuman strength, even though it would still be a couple of more years before he could ever be able to use it to the same level as she could. For several hours Tsunade threw and threw hundreds of dodge balls at her son, where the dodge balls would often explode by the sheer power of the thrown, when it hit the ground or a tree. After a while of this, Naruto was starting to get tired of always dodging and decided to strike back. Soon after, when Tsunade threw another dodge ball and shouted, "Dodge!" Naruto leapt into the air at the incoming dodge ball and channeled all the chakra he could gather. As the dodge ball was about to hit him, Naruto did mid-air spin kick and hit the dodge ball with all the strength he could muster with his chakra-enhanced kick. When Naruto kicked the ball, the power he put into the kick was so great that it overpowered Tsunade's throw. After which Naruto's kick blasted the ball right back at Tsunade with twice the velocity that she threw it with. She was so shocked by what Naruto had done that she had barely been able to dodge the ball, which exploded once it hit that spot that Tsunade had been a second ago. After Tsunade had narrowly dodged the ball, she turned to look at her son, who was somehow still standing after putting so much of his remaining chakra into the kick and was breathing heavily from exhaustion. Incredible. Even after constantly dodging all my throws non-stop for most of the morning, he still had enough strength and power to overpower one of my throws at full power. I knew he was slowly getting better at being able to use my strength, but still. I never thought he have enough control over it to be able to block it and hit it back at me with twice as much force as what I threw at him. Not to mention he's still able to stand up after putting so much power into that kick, after doing something like he should be dead on his feet and unconscious on the ground. Thought Tsunade in shock, but quickly got over it and a large smirk appeared on her face, but then again he is my son after all. All right Naru-chan, that enough for today, spoke Tsunade, after which she then started to seal away the large bag that held the remaining dodge balls. But, pant, Car-chan, pant, I can pant, still key, pant, keep going, pant, said Naruto tiredly. That may be true Naru-chan, but remember what I said about pushing yourself too far. Now come over here so I can heal you, said Tsunade, where her son was too tried to argue and went over to her to be healed. After a little while, Naruto was fully healed and was itching to start training some more, but his mother wouldn't allow it. But Car-chan, why can't I? Since you said the more I train the stronger I get, and I want to get as strong as you, Ero-sanin and the Yondaime, said Naruto. Naruto knew a lot about the Yondaime thanks to all the stories that Jiraiya told him about, although Tsunade didn't really like it, since she was still angry at Minato for turning their son into a Jinchuriki. But Naruto was still unaware of the fact that the Yondaime was his father, since both Tsuande and Jiraiya had decided not to tell Naruto until he was ready, in case he accidentally blurted it out to someone. Whenever Naruto asked about his father, the subject was always changed. Naruto also didn't know about the Kyuubi being sealed into him either, since like with the knowledge of his father it was decided to keep secret for the same reason. Yes Naru-chan, that true, but if we kept training you be too tried to do your studies with Shizune, replied Tsunade. But I like training more, whined Naruto. Now Naru-chan, you know that your studies with Shizune are just as important as your other training, and if you want to be as good at healing as I am, then you have to study hard, said Tsunade, which convinced her son to agree and start to head home. During the last year Naruto had become very eager to learn about being a medic, which was a dramatic change from when Tsunade had first tired a few months after his 6th birthday. Since when Tsunade first tired to get Naruto to study to learn to be a medic, Naruto was not interested, since he found all the studying boring and wanted to either play with Tonton or play other kids or train so that he kick butt, Naruto's words, like Jiraiya or Minato. But that all changed when Naruto was 7, when he found a wounded rabbit in the forest near one of their houses that they had stayed in. When Naruto found the rabbit, it had been just attacked by a wild eagle, which had been scared off when it saw Naruto come over. When Naruto saw that the rabbit had been badly hurt, he had become greatly distressed since he hated seeing animals hurt, where he went to his mother carrying the injured animal to her in hopes that she could do something. Thankfully, despite not being a vet, Tsunade knew what to do since she still knew enough about most living creature biology. When Naruto saw how easily his mother had helped to heal the injured rabbit, he had become interested. After that, he decided to ask his mother if he could go with her when she went to heal people, which she happily agreed to. During the trips, Naruto became more and more interested in medical jutsu, since he saw how his mother helped so many people with it and how happy she made the people she healed as well as their families. It was then after his mother had healed a young girl, whom Naruto had befriended earlier, who had been seriously injured in an accident when she was playing with other children, that Naruto told his mother he wanted to be trained as a medic, much to his mother's joy, since he told her that he wanted to be a butt-kicking combat medic, where he would kick load of bad guys' butt, and help heal people who were hurt at the same time. After Tsunade heard Naruto's little decree, she had agreed to train Naruto to be a medic, even though it wasn't exactly what she had wanted. Tsunade knew it was the best she could get. After Naruto decided to train to be a medic, Tsunade started to train Naruto in medical ninjutsu and how to use his chakra to help heal others. Shizune also helped by teaching Naruto about how each part of the body works and what to do if certain things happen, like if a person had broken arm or if they would suffer a heart attack. It had been difficult at first, since Naruto found it difficult to try and remember the names of the different organs or bones and what they do for the body. Even despite Naruto's love of reading things and trying to learn from simple easy-to-read medical books for beginners, he still had trouble focusing on what he was trying to learn. But Shizune had found a unique way to help teach Naruto. For example, putting different cartoon-like faces, as well as imprinting thoughts and feelings onto the pictures of each organ and body, so to help make it both fun and easier for Naruto to focus on them and remember them. She also made up different rhymes or little songs to help Naruto remember the names of the body parts and what they were connected to and do, as well as what to do if with certain injuries happened. Tsunade had naturally been skeptical at first when Shizune had suggested it, but when Shizune applied her idea to help teach Naruto, Tsunade soon saw that the teaching method was working perfectly, since Naruto improved greatly in his medical nin training. Tsunade herself praised Shizune for her teaching skills. She even stated that Shizune had a gift in helping to teach children and helping them learn. This of course caused the young women to blush bright red at her sensei praise, since it was not too often that Tsunade would praise someone. But even despite Naruto growing progress in his medical training, he was still a long way from being able to heal people properly, even with just simple injuries or illnesses. Also, Naruto was now learning about fuinjutsu, sealing techniques, from Jiraiya, where he was teaching Naruto how to seal simple things into scrolls like a kunai, after which when he returned, Jiraiya would then start to teach him other slightly more advanced sealing techniques. After a little while, Tsunade and Naruto reached their small house that they were staying in for now. When they were about to go in, Shizune quickly came of the house with a slightly concerned look on her face. "Tsunade-sensei, I'm glad that you're here. There is a man here looking for you to help heal someone," said Shizune. "So, what is the problem with that? A lot of people have come here looking for me when they needed to be healed or someone else to be healed," replied Tsunade, since it was common enough for it to happen with her as a healer. "No, he not looking for you, he looking for you," spoke Shizune. At this, Tsunade suddenly understood what Shizune meant and narrowed her eyes, since the only people that would know where she, meaning the real her, Tsunade the Slug Princess, was, where Jiraiya and the Sandaime. "Naru-chan, you and Shizune stay out here and practice throwing your senbon needles, while I go inside and talk to the person inside, okay?" said Tsunade as she turned around to Naruto with a smile on her face as if there was nothing wrong. "Okay, Ka-chan, come on, Ne-chan," said Naruto as he pulled the end of Shizune's Kasode robe to get to come along with him. Since he didn't think anything was wrong, since a lot of people came back to ask his mother to heal them or some else. After a quick nodded of understanding to Tsunade, Shizune then went with Naruto. Inside Tsuande's house, when Tsunade entered the room, she saw a young man with brown hair and glasses wearing an official uniform of a guardsman of Oni no Kuni, as well as carrying a pack of arrows and a bow on his back. "Greetings, Tsunade-sama, it is an honor to meet you in person," said the young man as he bowed down on the floor. "I afraid you're mistaken, since I not her my name is Yakumo," replied Tsunade. "There is no mistake, Tsunade-sama, so you can remove your disguise," replied the man. Tsunade narrowed her eyes, after which she then changed her form, from a short red-haired woman with blue eyes, to her usual form. "So who are you and how did you know where I was staying and that I was in disguise?" asked Tsuande, as she was on guard in case the man was some sort of assassin or kidnapper. "My name is Tatuho and I am one of the personal bodyguards of the High Priestess Lady Miraku, ruler and protector of Oni no Kuni," spoke the man named Tatuho. "The High Priestess?" asked Tsunade in surprise. "Hi, and she is in great need of your help, Tsunade-sama," said Tatuho, and he bowed down to her again. "Lady Miraku is gravely ill, due to an assassination attempt on her life by an assassin from a rival country who had hoped to kill her to disrupt the leader of our country. Fortunately, Lady Miraku was able to foresee the attack and warn us about it. Where we were able to capture him, but unfortunately the assassin had a backup plan and had poisoned her food. The best doctors in our land have tried to help her, but all have failed. She had even recently went into a coma due to the poison. You are our only hope she has of surviving. Please, Tsunade-sama, I beg you save Lady Miraku," said Tatuho, still keeping his head on the ground. "Before I say anything, I want you to answer a question for me," spoke Tsunade without showing any emotion. "How did you find out that I was here and that I was in disguise?" asked Tsunade, since she needed to know who they knew she was here. Before Lady Miraku went into her coma, she had one last vision, where she saw you in disguise in this village with your student and a young blonde boy who she believed was your son, spoke Tatuho. At this Tsuande frowned and went into deep thought and said nothing. After several minutes of silence, Tsunade spoke up again. Very well, I will help heal the High Priestess, but on one condition. Name it Tsunade-sama and it will be done, I swear it, spoke Tatuho as he stood up. Before I tell you, I want to know, other than yourself and the High Priestess, does anyone else know about the vision that she had about my son and me, asked Tsunade. No. Lady Miraku only told me of her vision about you and your son, replied Tatuho. Good. Then my condition is simple, that both you and the High Priestess swear not to reveal the fact that I have a son to anyone until the day it is officially known to other countries. Since I have many enemies out in the world that would come after my son just to get to me, and until the day he is either strong enough to defend himself or has enough protection no one can know that he even exists. Is that clear? Said Tsunade forcefully, since she would allow no harm to come to her son. Of course, Tsunade-sama, I understand perfectly, and I swear no one will learn the existence of your son from me, and I'm certain Lady Miraku will agree as well, replied Tatuho. Good, because should you or the High Priestess ever break your oath and leak the information about my son to others and it puts him in danger, I swear there will be no place on this earth that you can hide from me. Is that clear? Threatened Tsunade in a deadly tone as she flooded the room with her killing intent, making Tatuho freeze in fear and cause a cold sweat to run down his back. Hi. Tsunade-sama, you understand P perfectly, said Tatuho fearfully, as he had never been so scared in his entire life. Good, then we will leave in 1 hour, spoke Tsuande as she stood up to go and talk to Shizune. When Tsunade left, Tatuho slouched down and let out a large sigh as the killing intent died out. Truly, there is nothing more dangerous in this world than a mother protecting its child, though Tatuho, as he shivered slightly in fear as the memory of Tsunade killing intent was still fresh in his mind. 3 days later, after about 3 days of traveling, Tsunade and the group soon arrived at the estate for the High Priestess of the Demon Country. When they arrived at the main gate, Tsunade had her special genjutsu activated on both her and Shizune so to make sure that no one would know it was her. The excuse as to why she was here was based sort on the truth, where Tatuho had told the guards that she was a healer from a far-off village that was said to be highly skilled in poisons and could help the High Priestess. When Tsunade entered the room, she had Tatuho dismiss all the servants and other healers in the room so that she could begin her work without being bothered. When all the servants and the other healers were gone, Tsunade cancelled the henge over her and Shizune and began to diagnose the High Priestess. After a few minutes, Tsunade finished her diagnoses on High Priestess and turned to Tatuho, who remained in the room. I'm afraid that the toxin that the High Priestess has been poisoned with was a highly toxic and highly dangerous one, that even some of the most skilled healers would have difficulty treating, spoke Tsunade. What exactly is the poison, Tsunade-sama, and what does it do? Asked Tatuho. The poison came from a very rare and highly toxic mushroom called the black-spotted mushroom. It can be made into a powder, gas or liquid form, where it can be breathed in, injected or digested through food. Once the poison is in the body, it destroys the cells, causing the body and the organs to fail and slowly killing the person over time. The effects typically include a nagging cough and other undetectable but common symptoms. It is very hard to detect and even harder to cure, said Tsunade grimly. See, can you treat it, Tsunade-sama? Asked Tatuho worriedly. Yes, I can, by extracting the poison from her body, but it will be difficult, replied Tsunade. Whatever you need, Tsunade-sama, please tell me and I shall get it, spoke Tatuho. I need you to get several large bowls of hot water and bring them here, ordered Tsunade as she was going into her healer mode, where she got Shizune and Naruto to help her get everything needed to help the High Priestess. Soon enough, Tatuho had servants bring over 24 bowls of hot water to the door, where he then brought them into the room. Tsunade then had him and Shizune help restrain the High Priestess when she extracted the poison from the High Priestess body. Once Shizune and Tatuho had restrained the High Priestess and were holding onto her, to make sure that she stayed still, Tsuande then used her chakra no mesu chakra scalpel to make an incision into the one of the affected parts of the High Priestess body, after which she used her Seiken Chushutsu no Jutsu delicate illness extraction technique, where she extracted the toxin from the High Priestess body. It was a slow process and was quite painfully for the High Priestess, for even though she was unconscious, her body struggles in pain. Naruto also did his part to help by changing the water each time for his mother as she slowly extracted the poison from the high priestess body. After about an hour or so of slow and painful extraction, Tsunade had finally extracted the last of the poison out of the high priestess body. It's done, virtually all the poison is out of her body now, sighed Tsunade as she wiped the sweat off her brow. Then will Lady Miraku recover? Asked Tatuho hopefully. She should once I have used some of the extracted poison to help make a medicine that will take care of the remainder of the poison in her body and help her body recover more quickly. I will also stay for a while here to make sure that the High Priestess does not suffer any relapses or something else happens since she is in a fragile state right now. Thank you Tsunade-sama, I cannot thank you enough, we are forever in your debt, said Tatuho as he was kneeling on the floor with his head down in gratitude to Tsunade. To which Tsunade just nodded. Tatuho, do you have a greenhouse area and a medial area I can use to make the medicine for the High Priestess? Asked Tsunade. Yes we do, I shall have a servant lead you there immediately. Ka-chan, can I help too? Asked Naruto who wanted to help as well. Thank you Naru-chan, but you can't because it's very hard to do and you're not ready yet, why don't you go with Tonton out to the garden and play, said Tsunade. Groaned Naruto since he wanted to help plus he didn't have anyone really to play with, sure he had Tonton and he liked playing with her. It was just that he would have liked to play with other kids his own age, since it was hard for him to make and keep friends since he was always moving from place to place with his mother, Nei-chan and Tonton. Naruto-san, if you like, maybe you can play with Lady Miraku's daughter Shien, since I was about to go to her and tell her that her mother will be okay, since she has been very worried about her. I'm sure that Shien would love to have someone her own age to play with since she does not have many friends to play with as well, said Tatuho kindly as he knelt down to Naruto. Tatuho knew that Shien had been very worried for her mother when she started to fall ill. Ever since then the poor young girl had been crying herself to sleep, since she had been so worried about her mother dying and leaving her alone. This was because her mother was all she had, since her father had died in a horse-riding accident when she was only a year old and she did not really have any friends. Since like her mother she had the power to see into the future, but since she was so young she could not control it and would often see people deaths. This caused people to fear her, especially other children, since they thought that if they went near her they would die, hence they would run away from her. He hoped that once he brought the good news about her mother and Naruto to play with her, it would brighten the girl up. He only hoped that Naruto would not be scared away from Shien, since the girl was desperately lonely and badly needed a friend. When they left the room, Tatuho had 2 guards placed inside the High Priestess room and 2 outside the room, to make sure no more assassins would try to get in. After which he then called a servant over and ordered him to show Tsunade and Shizune, who had their henges back on, where the medical area and the greenhouse area was. After that Tatuho then lead Naruto and Tonton, who was following Naruto, to where Shien room was and tell her the good news about her mother. Shien bedroom. Currently in her bedroom, the young daughter of the High Priestess Shien was in the corner of her bedroom. She was sitting down on the floor with her legs held tightly against her chest and her head against her legs. Her eyes were puffy red from crying for most of the time, since she was worried for her mother and was afraid that she would die and leave her all alone. Shien was wearing a long yellow and gold robe-like coat with red baggy pants and a plain white shirt. She also wore her long blonde hair down and had a round glass-like charm that would ring like a tiny bell hung on the left-hand side of her head. As she sat quietly in her little corner she heard a knock on her door. Go away, I told all of you to just leave me alone, cried Shien, since she did not want to talk to anyone. Shien-san, it is me Tatuho, I have news about your mother, may I please enter, spoke Tatuho. Okasan, said Shien, after which she let Tatuho in. Did okay Okasan did, said Shien as she tried to say the words she dreaded but found she could not. No she did not Shien-san, said Tatuho since he knew what the girl was thinking, she is actually much better now, I was able to make contact with a healer that lived in one of the outer villages and had her come here to heal your mother. Thanks to her she was able to heal your mother and is now working on a medicine that will help her mother get better. Why yo you mean Okasan isn't going to die? Asked Shien as she dared to hope. Tatuho just nodded to her that it was true, where Shien then ran over to Tatuho and hugged him tightly and started to cry again, but this time with tears of joy. After a few minutes Shien finally stopped crying and looked up at Tatuho and spoke. See, can I see Okasan? I'm afraid not, Shien-san, since your mother is still in a coma, but I sure she will awaken up very soon, and once she does and has regained some of her strength you can see her, I promise, said Taoho, to which Shien just nodded. Also Shien-san, I have something else to tell you, said Tatuho, which caused the girl to look at him curiously. The healer I brought has a son named Naruto. He is about your age and like you he doesn't really have that many friends, since he moves around a lot with his mother. Also since his mother is staying here for a while I thought you and him could meet and become friends since he doesn't really have anyone to play with either. At this Shien began to get worried since she was afraid that like the other children she tired to play with he would run away and call her freak like all the others. BB, but won't he just run away like all the others, said Shien. At this a sad look appeared over Tatuho, since he felt for the poor girl, since she was very lonely and just wanted a friend and he hoped that Naruto would be that friend for her. I do not think he will, Shien-san, since he seems to be a very kind young boy and I'm sure he just wants to be your friend, if you let him. After a bit of convincing, Tatuho was finally able to get Shien to agree to at least talk to Naruto, as long as Taoho was here with her. After which Tatuho then opened the door and brought Naruto in, who was accompanied by Tonton. Hi, greeted Naruto when he saw Shien, who was hiding behind Taoho shyly. When Naruto greeted her, Shien did not speak and she just hid behind Tatuho for fear of being rejected by Naruto like all the other children she had tried to befriend. Seeing at how nervous and shy Shien was, Naruto decided to go over to her, where he went around Tatuho so that he could face her. Hello Shien, my name is Naruto, would you like to play with me, since there aren't really any other kids around and since my car-chan is going to be here for a little while, it'd be nice if I had someone else to play with, said Naruto. At first Shien said nothing, but after a few minutes Shien suddenly spoke. Didu, why you really, want to play with me? Yay, you're not afraid of me? Asked Shien, where she began to hope that she might actually have a friend. Why would I be? It just that, other kids run away from me, and call me freak because I can see things that they can't. Then those kids are all idiots if they say that. My car-chan told me that no matter how different we are or what we can do, no one should be treated unfairly and no one should be alone. So you really want to be my friend? Asked Shien, to which Naruto just nodded and held out his hand, which Shien nervously took hold of. Oink, cried Tonton. This caused Shien and Naruto to take notice of her. Oh sorry Tonton, I forgot to introduce you. Shien, this is Tonton, my family pet Big and my friend, introduced Naruto. Hello Tonton, said Shien, as she kneeled down and started to pet Tonton on the head and scratch behind her ear, which the small Big enjoyed very much. Hey, do you want to go play tag with Tonton and me? Asked Naruto. Sure, said Shien, after which Naruto then grabbed a hold of Shien where they and Tonton ran off outside. As the two children and the pig ran off, Tatuho could not help but smile, since it was the first time that he saw Shien smile in a very long time. He was also happy to see that she finally had a friend that was not scared of her. Outside in the estate garden for the next hour or two, Shien, Naruto and Tonton played together happily, where they played games like tag, hide and seek, other such games. After that Shien showed Naruto around the estate. She even brought Naruto to a hidden part of the garden where her mother and she would plant flowers. This is where Okasan and I go sometimes to plant flowers, said Shien to Naruto as they looked around the different flowers. As Naruto looked around he saw a dying flower bush near the end of the flower patch. What wrong with that? Asked Naruto as he pointed to the dying flower bush. When Shien saw what Naruto was pointing at, she could not but blush and look down at shame. That was a rose bush that I tried to grow by myself, since most of the flower her were grown by Okasan and the rest were grown by me with Okasan help. I told her I wanted to do one by myself, but it was harder than I thought it would be with Okasan help. No matter what I tried it wouldn't grow right and started to die, said Shien sadly and embarrassed. If you like I can help, offered Naruto. What say you do? Asked Shien. Well, there is a special trick that I learned and could do that might help. But you have to promise that you won't tell anyone, not even your car-chan or Tatuho-san, okay? Said Naruto. Okay, I promise. Pinky swear, said Naruto holding out his pinky finger. Pinky swear, repeated Shien as she locked her pinky finger with Naruto's. Okay then, said Naruto as he went over to the dying bush where he grabbed hold of the main trunk part of the bush and started to channel chakra into the rose bush. At first Shien was confused as to why Naruto was grabbing a hold of the rose bush. But before she could ask him, she saw the rose bush beginning to grow bigger and bigger. It then started to sprout leaves and then rose flowers, and right before Shien, the rose bush became fully bloomed. How did you do that? Asked Shien in awe when Naruto had gotten up and dusted off his pants. It's a special power that I have, it's called Mokuton would release, it's a Kekkei Genkai bloodline, it's kind of like your powers. Shien told Naruto about her powers, said Naruto. What exactly can you do with it? Asked Shien. Well, like you saw, I can make trees and plants grow. My great-grandfather had the same ability, although he could only grow trees, I can also help grow plants. My great-grandfather could do loads of cool things with it, where he could make trees or entire forests wherever he wanted. He could even make wooden mansions or houses out of nowhere. He also created my Ka-chan home village Konoha and the massive forest that surrounds it in a single day, said Naruto with a bit of pride for how powerful his great-grandfather was, while Shien was just in awe. Also, from what Ka-chan told me, he was also able to use his power in the same kind of way your power works, spoke Naruto, which got a confused look. Shien. My great-grandfather was able to use Mokuton to help suppress and control demons and seal them away. Can you do that? Asked Shien in surprise, which Naruto answered by shaking his head. No, or at least not yet, since I'm nowhere near what my great-grandfather can do, since I can't grow big giant tree out of nowhere like he could. The best I can do is being able to grow trees and flowers out of seeds that I buy and grow them in the different ways and shapes I want them to. According to Ka-chan, I got a long way to go before I ever get to my great-grandfather's level, since I have to learn it by myself for now. Can't your Okasan help you to get better at being able to do it? Asked Shien. She can't, since she can't do it. I'm the only one in my family that can do it, since my great-grandfather was the only person who could do it in my clan, said Naruto. What about you, Otosan, father, couldn't he help? Asked Shien, but instantly regretted it when a sad look came across Naruto's face. I don't have a token, another less formal way to say father, or at least not now. He died just when I was born, from what Ka-chan told me. She doesn't talk about it much, since every time I ask she gets this angry look on her face and changes the subject, said Naruto. Sorry, said Shien sadly. It's okay, I never knew him and I probably find out about him later on, so there's no problem, said Naruto as he put on a happy face. So are there any other things you can do? Asked Shien to change the subject. Yay, there are some other things I can do, but I can't say, since I could get in a lot of trouble with Ka-chan if I did. Hell, I get in a lot already if she found out I told you about me being able to do Mokuton. Why's that? Asked Shien. Ka-chan told me that there are a lot of bad people out there that would like to take me away because of me being able to do Mokuton. This is because I'm the first one to be able to do it since my great-grandfather. If those people found out, they come after me and take me away from my family. They would then make me use my powers to do a lot of bad things for them, since thanks to my great-grandfather power, he was able to become one of the strongest ninjas around, and since I have the same power, those bad people would think I could be just as powerful as he was, hence they would want me under their control. That is why I have to keep my powers secret from everyone until I'm strong enough. Can you really become as strong as your great-grandfather? Asked Shien. One day maybe, since Ka-chan and Tsunade-chan are training me as well as Ero-sanan, my perverted uncle. The last comment got a confused look from Shien until Naruto explained how Jiraiya would peek on women when in the hot spring. This of course caused Shien to scowl, finding what Jiraiya did disgusting. Besides, it's my dream one to become stronger than my hero the Yondaime Hokage who defeated the Kyuubi by himself. It's also my dream to become a great healer like Ka-chan and become a Konoha ninja like the rest of my family were, as well as become Hokage like my great-grandfather, my great-great-uncle, and like the Yondaime, spoke Naruto. Well, I think you can do, said Shien, which caused Naruto to smile and blush slightly. After that, the two continue to talk with one another about different things for a few hours, although Naruto didn't mention or show any more of his abilities to Shien, since he didn't want to get into more trouble with his mother in case she found out he told Shien. This continued until they were called by Tatuho and a few of the other guards to come for dinner. 3 days after Tsunade had extracted the poison from the High Priestess' body, the High Priestess awoke from her coma. When Shien found out, she immediately went to her mother and cried in her arms. The High Priestess was equally happy at seeing her daughter and was even more so when she learned that Shien and Naruto had become friends. During her recovery period, the High Priestess often watched the two children play, since it made her happy to see her daughter be a normal child and playing with another child. During the following 2 weeks since Naruto and his family arrived at the estate, both he and Shien spent every day playing with one another along with Tonton. Often enough, Shien would even watch Naruto train with his mother. When she first saw Tsunade type of training, she was afraid that she might hurt Naruto. But Shizune assured her that he would be okay, which he was despite the bruises he would have, which would go away after a few minutes thanks to his quick healing after training. It was at this time that Naruto was running to the main gate of the estate to meet Shien and 5 of her guards. Both he and Shien had asked both their mothers if it'd be okay for them to go to the small park outside the nearby village, so that they could go and play on the swing and slides, as well as the other things there, since there were none of them in the estate. Both the High Priestess and Tsunade had agreed, as long as they had some guards with them and were always in sight of them. When Naruto reached the gate, he saw Shien, her mother, who came to say goodbye to Shien since she could not go with them as she was still recovering, along with the 5 guards, were waiting for him. When Shien greeted Naruto, she saw that he had a necklace around his neck with a large green crystal on it. When she got a better look at it, she recognized it as the same necklace he had seen his mother wear around her neck. Naruto-kun, is that your Okasan necklace? Asked Shien. Hi, I found it in our bathroom where Ka-chan must have left it. I tried to find her to give it to her since it's really valuable, but I couldn't find her, so I keeping it around my neck so I won't lose it, answered Naruto. That very kind of you, Naruto. Now you and Shien have a nice time playing in the park and don't stray too far from the guards so that they can see you, okay, said Miraku. We will, Okasan, replied Shien as she and Naruto walk out the gate with the guards. At the park, when the group arrived at the park, the 2 young children ran off to play on the different play equipment like the slide, seesaw, jungle gym, merry-go-round, sandbox, spring rider, swing set and chin-up bars. As the children played together, the 5 guards watched them carefully and kept an eye out for any trouble. Unfortunately, trouble had already found them. Hidden in the tree line beside the park, unknown to the children and the guards, 3 Chunin Amnins, rain ninjas, hid in the tree line watching them and waiting for the chance to strike. So how long do we wait, Maku? Asked one of the Amnins. We wait till the moment is right, Ken, answered the ninja called Maku to the other Am ninja. Maku was middle-aged man and was medium built with jet black hair, grey eyes and a round face, and wore a standard Chunin out for Am Nin. He wore a yellow shirt with a grey-blue flak jacket over it, and black pants with a weapons pouch strapped to them. The ninja named Ken was a young man in his mid-20s. He had long brown hair that he had tied up into a ponytail. He also had blue eyes and had a tin face. Also, like Maku, he wore a yellow shirt with a grey-blue flak jacket over it, and black pants with a weapons pouch strapped to them. We wouldn't even have to do this if that fool the Sawa no Kuni, Swamp Country, Daimyo sent had done his job right, or if he had just sent us instead to kill the High Priestess, said the 3rd member of the Am group. I know, Kame, but what done is done, and as long as we get paid for the job I don't really care, replied Maku. The man named Kame was the youngest of the group, who was just in his 20s. He had red hair and green eyes and had a narrowing face. Also, like the rest of his group, he wore a yellow shirt with a grey-blue flak jacket over it, and black pants with a weapons pouch strapped to them, as well as a short tanto sword strapped to his back. But why do we even have to kidnap the girl anyhow? Can't we just go and kill the High Priestess ourselves? Asked Kame. We can't kill her because the High Priestess guards are on alert and will guard her constantly, not to mention the High Priestess may use her powers to see into the future like she did before and see our attack and have her guards be ready. So the best way for us to kill her is to kidnap her daughter and hold her for ransom. Once the High Priestess comes to us with the ransom, we kill her, answered Maku. But isn't there a chance that the High Priestess might see that it's a trap and not come? Spoke Ken. Doesn't matter if she does know it's a trap, she still comes, since as long as there a chance that she might save her daughter, she take it, since a mother will do anything to protect or save its child. Besides, when we do lay the trap, we will have more than one type of trap to kill her with, and even she won't be able to predict all of our traps and attacks, said Maku. But what do we do with the daughter once we killed her mother? Do we kill her as well or what? Asked Kame. We take her back to Sawa Daimyo, since he told me if we can take the girl alive then he pays us double our fee. Since when the girl reaches the right age he will marry her, this would then allow him to gain control of Oni no Kuni legally. Not to mention a wife that can see into the future would be very useful to him, and any children he would have with her would most likely have her power, making her more valuable to him, spoke Maku. Both Kame and Ken nodded in understanding but could not help but be slightly disgusted with the fact that they be handing over a 7-year-old girl to the Sawa Daimyo. Since the Sawa Daimyo was a 50-year-old man who was overweight and bald, and the fact that he was planning to make the young girl his wife made him all the more sick. But they quickly shook off the disgust, since they were paid to do a mission and as long as they got paid it was no concern to them what happened to the girl. Alright, you two, our man has just signaled us, get ready to move in or kill the guards on my command, order Maku, which the other men responded by nodding their heads in understanding. During that time one of the guards named Haru was happily watching Shien and Naruto play with one another on the swing. Like many of the guards in the High Priestess estate, he saw how sad and lonely Shien was, but with Naruto she was happily playing and acting like a regular young girl. Haru was a young man in his early 20s, he was about medium height and built, he had spike silver hair with a round face and purple eyes, and unlike the rest of the guards he carried a large broadsword on his back. Haru also did not wear the traditional outfit of a guardsman of Oni no Kuni. Haru wore a black shirt and pants and wore crimson armored shin guards and arm guards as well as a crimson breastplate and black cape. The reason as to why Haru was so different from the guards was because unlike the others he was not a normal guard, he was a samurai and the High Priestess champion, he was also the best swordsman in Oni no Kuni. As Haru watched the children, one of the other guards named Shuda, who Haru was friendly with, came up to him. Shuda was a medium-built man who was slightly taller than Haru. He was in his early 30s and had spiky red hair with brown eyes and muscular face. He also wore the tradition outfit of a guardsman of Oni no Kuni and carried a straight narrow sword in its sheath on his left-hand side hip. You certainly enjoy watching the children play, said Shuda. Yes, I'm glad to see that Shien-san has someone her own age to be with, since she needed a friend for a very long time, replied Haru, where Shuda just grunted. The two of them continued to watch the children play until suddenly the three nins appeared out for the tree line and quickly killed the other three guardsmen. Ninjas, cried Haru as he quickly began to draw his sword out so to face the enemy shinobis. As he did he spoke to Shuda without taking his eyes off the nins. Shuda, get Shien-san and Naruto-san and head back to the estate where they be safe. I try and hold the shinobis off until you are, said Haru, but cried out in pain before he could finish as he felt his back being slashed by a sword. As he fell down, Haru turned his head slightly to see who had slashed and saw that it was his friend Shuda that had done it, who was smiling cruelly as he slashed Haru from behind. Shuda. BB, but why? Asked Haru as he lay on the ground bleeding badly. Simple, to get rich, why else? The daimyo of Sawa no Kuni his will pay me a small fortune to help kill the High Priestess, and once I help bring him the High Priestess spoiled brat he pay me double what I get for helping to kill the High Priestess. You traitor, growled Haru as he wanted nothing more than to slice the man in two with his sword. Huh, like I care what you think of me, you be long dead by that time, sneered Shuda as he was about finish Haru off, but before he could the nin named Kame came up to him. The brats are gone. What? Roared Shuda, they must have ran off into the forest as we were killing the other guards, we can't find them anywhere. You idiots, can't you do anything right? They're just kids, how hard can it be? We have to find them quickly before the High Priestess find out that something wrong, and send out the whole guard after us, shouted Shuda as he started to head into the forest. What about him? Asked Kame, pointing at Haru who was still lying on the ground bleeding from his wound. Leave him with that wound, he will be dead in a few minutes from the blood loss, answered Shuda as he continued into the forest. Unfortunately Shuda had underestimated Haru, since when he and the nins had gone off into the forest after Naruto and Shien. Haru lifted himself up through sheer willpower and started to walk back to the High Priestess estate as quickly as he could and get help. As he did he prayed that the children could keep themselves hidden from Shuda and the nins until help came. 20 minutes later at the High Priestess estate. Currently sitting on the porch of her private room, the High Priestess Miraku was sitting down on a chair and relaxing a little with Tatuho, who was also standing next to her. The High Priestess was taking it easy, since even though she was out of the woods in terms of the poison, her body was still weak and needed to recover. As the high priestess was relaxing, she suddenly two female heard voices loudly as if arguing, and before she could have Tatuho investigate what was happening, Tsunade and Shizune, in the true form since the high priestess knew who she was and agreed to Tsunade condition, along with Tonton burst into her room, where Tsunade started to look around while Shizune tried to calm her Tsunade down. I know I had it, Shizune, I just don't remember where I put it, said Tsunade angrily as she tore the room apart as she looked around. After seeing this, the high priestess spoke up to try to help solve whatever problem there was with Tsunade before she destroyed her room. Is there a problem, Tsunade-sama? Perhaps I can help, asked Miraku politely, since she did owe the women her life after all. As Tsunade continued to look around, Shizune decided to speak up. Forgive our intrusion, high priestess, it is just that my sensei has lost a very valuable heirloom belonging to her grandfather and cannot remember where she put it. Would the item you are looking for perhaps be a necklace with a green crystal on it? Asked the high priestess. You saw it? Asked Tsunade in surprise as she stopped looking around the room. Yes, I did. I saw your son Naruto had it around his neck when he met Shien and the guards when they were going to the park outside the estate. He had told me that the necklace was valuable and belonged to your grandfather. He had also told me that he found it in your bathroom and had looked for you to give it back, but couldn't find you, so he decided to wear it around his neck to keep it safe. When Tsunade heard this, the deep dark feeling she had been having in the pit in her stomach, ever since she realized she lost her necklace, grew. Tsunade prayed that nothing would happen to her son, but unfortunately her accursed bad luck followed true as always as a panicked guard came rushing into the room. Lady Miraku, we have an emergency, cried the guard. What happened? My lady, we just found Haru Dono at the main gate and he was badly wounded. He told us before he passed out from his wounds, that one of the guards named Shuda attacked him right when he and the other guards were attacked by enemy shinobis. He also told us that all the other guards were killed by the enemy shinobis and also said that Shuda and the shinobis were hired by the daimyo of Sawa to kill you and kidnap your daughter. Also he told us that the shinobis and Shuda went after your daughter and her young friend who had ran away into the forest when they were attacked. The moment the guard had finished speaking, Tsuande raced right past the man, who saw nothing but a yellow blur, with Shizune and Tonton hot on her heels. Tatuho, I want you to gather as many men as you can and have them meet me at the gate in 5 minutes, ordered the high priestess. But my lady, you have not yet fully recovered from the poison, spoke Tatuho. I do not care, this is my daughter's life and I will not lose her, rounded the high priestess angrily. Of course, my lady, said Tatuho as he and the other guard ran out the room to gather as many guards as they could. Please be safe, Shien, though Miraku, as she left the room to meet he guards at the main gate. At the same time as the high priestess was given orders out to her guards, Tsunade was racing out the gate with Shizune and Tonton to where Naruto and Shien were last. Please be alright, Naru-chan, please be alright, though Tsunade worriedly, while also thinking, if any of those bastards have touched so much as a hair my baby boy, they will wish they had never been born. Hold on, Naruto and Shien were coming, just hold on, though Shizune as she did her best to keep up with her sensei. Naruto and Shien, as the mothers of the two children moved out to save their children, the said children were running for their lives deeper and deeper into the forest, trying to keep one step ahead of their pursuers. Pant, pant. Did we lose them, Naruto-kun? Asked Shien as they hid behind a tree so that Shien could catch her breath. I don't think so, since the guys that are after us are ninjas, so I don't think we can lose them that easily, replied Naruto. But why are they us? What do they want? Asked Shien. I don't think they're after us, I think they are after you, answered Naruto. But why? Think about it, Shien-chan, your Ka-chan is the ruler of this country, you're practically a princess. That means they want to kidnap you and hold you for ransom, or someone hired them to kill you for some reason. Then what do? We have to keep running and find some place to hide until our Ka-chans realize that something has happened. But that still could be hours since we weren't due back till later on, replied Shien worriedly. I know, but we have no choice, said Naruto angrily, since he knew he stood no chance against the ninjas, since they were all older and more experienced than he was. Not only that, but he also had to protect Shien as well, which made it all the harder if he had to fight. I don't see them anywhere, cried one of the ninjas nearby. Well, keep looking, they have to be nearby, cried the leader of the ninja group. Come on, Shien, we got to keep moving or they find us, said Naruto as he pulled along. The two children quickly crawled through bushes and moved as quickly and as quietly as possible away from the nins. After a few minutes, Naruto came to a stop and looked back to see if any of the amnins were following them or were close by, but thankfully none of them were around. Shien-chan, I have an idea. If you hide here in the bushes, I can use a jutsu to turn into you and then I can lead them away from you when they follow me. No, cried Shien as tears started to spill from her eyes. If you do that, then they could hurt you or worse, kill you for doing that. But Shien-chan, they won't. They're after you, not me, and they won't. I'm pretty good at keeping away and hiding from people, so don't worry about me. No, there has to be another way. We can still keep running and hiding from them together. I won't let you get hurt because of me. But this is the best way. I help protect Shien-chan, pleaded Naruto. I don't care, and if you try and do that, Naruto, I will go out there and let them catch me. I won't let you get hurt because of me, spoke Shien stubbornly. Fine then, if that is the case, then we just have tea, said Naruto before he quickly disappeared and reappeared behind Shien and gave her a chop at the back of the neck and knocking her out. Sorry Shien-chan, but this is the best way I can protect you. Should be alright here, said Naruto as he caught Shien before she hit the ground and then gently put her on the ground behind some bushes. After which Naruto then quickly hanged into Shien and started to run off near where the amnins were. The amnins, where the hell did those brats go? Asked Ken. How the hell should I know? Spoke Kame angrily. The two of you shut up and keep looking. If we don't find them soon, then the high priestess will send her men here to look and find out what happened, in which case she will send her entire royal guard as well as her samurai after us and we be finished, spoke Maku. Look there, the girl, shouted Kame when she saw the disguised Naruto running through the forest. After her, shouted Maku as he and his teammates gave chase. With Shien, groaned Shien as she woke up. When she finally regained her bearings, she quickly remembered what had happened to her. Damn you, Naruto, why did you have to do that and be a hero, grumbled Shien. If anything happens to you, I never forgive. She then quickly got up and started to try and retrace her steps to try and get out of the forest to go and get help, but unfortunately as she tried to remember, she soon realized that she was lost. What am I going to do? I'm lost, and if I don't get help soon those ninjas may kill Naruto, thought Shien worriedly, and she tried to find something familiar that would help her get out of the forest, but unfortunately all the trees looked the same and didn't know which way they had come from. As Shien was trying to gain her bearings in the forest, she did not notice the figure coming behind her until it was too late. With Naruto and the amnins, as the disguised Naruto ran through the forest, he turned his head slightly to see if the amnins were following him. When he turned, he saw two of them, and before he could wonder on the whereabouts of the third, he suddenly found himself being grabbed by the third amnin. Kame. Got you, you little brat, smirked Kame, which ended quickly when he found himself holding a log with exploding notes on it, and before he could throw it away it exploded right in his face. Fortunately for Kame, the explosive notes that Naruto had used were low-grade ones, so the explosion did not kill him, but it did give him a few burns on his face and parts of his body that hurt like hell. Kawarimi no Jutsu, body replacement technique, thought the other two shinobis in surprise. How the hell did that brat do that? She shouldn't have any shinobi training, spoke Ken hotly. Well, seemingly she does, replied Maku angrily. Damn that fool Shuda, he never told us that the girl had shinobi training. This makes things all the harder. As the two amnins were talking, they suddenly heard some movement in the bushes and turned to their right and saw Shien running quickly from them. Maku quickly threw several kunai at the disguised Naruto, which he easily dodged, but unfortunately the kunai were never meant to hit him. Since the kunais had ninja wire tied to them so that when the disguised Naruto dodged them, Maku pulled the kunai back so that the ninja wire would wrap around him. But as soon as Shien was tied up in the ninja wire, she suddenly buffed out of existence. Cage Bunshin, Shadow Clone, won, though Maku in surprise before he had to move away to dodge a few dozen kunai. When the disguised Naruto saw that he had missed, he quickly moved out of his hiding spot since he had given his position away when he threw the kunais. But just as he did, he was suddenly grabbed by a strong pair of arms and found himself facing the amnin Ken, who in turn believed he was looking at Shien. I have you now, you annoying brat, said Ken, you think. Smirked the disguised Naruto as he threw a pepper bomb into Ken's eyes, blinding him. My eyes. You damn brat, screamed Ken as he dropped hold of the disguised Naruto and roared in pain as he held his hands in pain. After being let go by Ken, The disguised Naruto quickly tried to run away again but was stopped when several shurikens were thrown in front of him and caused him to stop. After which Maku appeared in front of Naruto. "Alright kid, that far enough, you caused us enough trouble as it is, so why don't do a smart thing and come quietly with us and you won't be hurt," said Maku. "Let's not," smirked the disguised Naruto and throw a smoke bomb in front of himself, which covered both him and Maku and the area around them. After a few seconds the disguised Naruto quickly ran out of the smoke-filled area and ran as quickly as he could, but as he ran he quickly found his legs being kicked away from underneath him and causing him to fall forward. But luckily Naruto was able to keep his wit about him, and as he fell forward he threw his body forward which caused him to flip forward and land on his feet. But as soon as he regained his footing Naruto found a kunai blade against his throat with Maku standing behind him and holding the kunai in a reverse grip. "Nice try kid, but I'm a seasoned chunin from a Megakure and a little kid like you doesn't stand a chance against someone like me. Although I give this, you're pretty skilled for a kid your age and you put up a good fight, you might have made a pretty good ninja one day." "Thanks, but I'm not done just yet," replied the disguised Naruto, and before Maku could even ask what Naruto was talking about, he suddenly felt several tiny explosions on his legs. The tiny explosions on Maku's legs were caused by exploding pouches that Naruto had secretly hooked onto Maku's leg during the smoke screen and had activated them right when Maku had caught him. Thankfully the exploding pouches had distracted Maku enough to make him move away from Naruto, which gave Naruto the chance to quickly turn around and channel his chakra into his fist. Where he then punched Maku in the stomach, where thanks to his training with his mother, Naruto sent Maku 20 feet away and right through 2 trees. Impossible. How on earth did a mere child gain such incredible strength? Who on earth has been training her? Though Maku as he lay on top of the ruined remains of the trees he went through, since he couldn't move as his whole body was in pain. He knew that he had broken at least 8 ribs from smashing through the trees as well as from Naruto's punch. After punching Maku, Naruto began to pant slightly since he was still not used to using his mother's superhuman strength. After a minute or so after gaining his breath Naruto decided to start running again, and get a head start away from the Amnins before they could reorganize themselves and start chasing him again. As Naruto was about to start to run, a sixth sense that he had developed from and the training he had done with his mother told him to move away. Which he thankfully did, since if he had not then he would have had his back slashed from Kame, who looked furious beyond words and seemed to beyond all reason, which was most likely due to the burns on his face that disfigured his face slightly. "Damn you, you cursed brat, I kill you for what you done to me," roared Kame as he continued to slash at the disguised Naruto trying to kill him, completely forgetting the fact that his mission was to capture Shien and bring her in alive and unharmed. "Damn that fool Kame, he going to ruin everything," growled Maku as he lifted himself slowly up since he still was in a great deal of pain and saw Kame slashing at Shien, with his sword, who was dodging each slash. Naruto continued to dodge the Kame sword slashes for a minute or so, during which he tried to make a counter-attack that would give him a chance to get away from Kame, but could not since Kame did not give him one, since his sword slashes were relentless. It continued like this until Kame made a left-hand diagonal slash at Naruto's head, which in turn he quickly made a counterclockwise spin to avoid the sword slash. This then gave him the opening he needed to strike back at Kame, since as he spun back around Naruto was able to come upon Kame unprotected left side and hit him with a supercharged spin kick. But just as Naruto hit Kame with his supercharged spin kick, Kame turned into a wooden log which shattered once it made contact with Naruto's kick. As soon as Kame turned into a wooden log, Naruto quickly realized that Kame had used a Kawarimi no Jutsu and had replaced himself with a wooden log. But before Naruto could do anything he was blindsided by a kick to the head from Kame which caused Naruto to slam into a nearby tree. Luckily, despite being hit, Naruto was still able to hold his henge, so he still looked like Shien, but even still he was still slightly disoriented from being hit and then slamming against a tree. When he regained his bearings he looked around quickly for Kame, and quickly saw him standing right in front of him with his short sword above his head ready to cut Naruto's head in two. "Prepare to die, you little bitch," snarled Kame angrily as he was about to swing his sword downward on the disguised Naruto. As Kame swung his sword down, Naruto could not help but try and put his hand up in front of himself to try and stop the blade, even though he knew they couldn't, and closed his eye tight as he saw the blade coming while shouting out, "No! And at the very moment that Naruto shouted out, "No," a large wooden spike came out of the ground right in front of Naruto and impaled came right through the chest, lifting him in the air slightly so that he was slightly above Naruto. When Naruto didn't feel the sword slicing through him, he opened his eyes to see what had happened. When he did, he quickly regretted it, since right in front of him was the impaled cane with blood coming out of his chest and dripping down that wooden spike. He also saw the dying Kame staring right at him with a look of complete shock and horror at what had happened to him. Blood was even coming out of his mouth and landing on Naruto's face, but after a few seconds the life quickly left his eyes and he died. When Naruto saw this, he was completely frozen in horror at what had happened in front of him and did not understand what had happened. WWWH, what happened to him? Where did that wooden spike come from? Did I do that with my Mokuton powers? BB, but how did I do it? Didn't mean to summon it, and do that to him. I just wanted to stop him, thought Naruto frighteningly, since he did not want to kill the man, plus he did not know how he even did it. Naruto was not the only person that was completely stunned what he had just done, both Ken and Maku were equally stunned. Impossible, a mere child killed Kame. And how the hell did that child summon that wooden spike, thought Ken in disbelief. Mokuton, thought Maku as he quickly recognized the special ability of the Shodaime Hokage which he had read about. How on earth can a child with no shinobi blood or link to Konoha have the power of its founder? It's not possible. As the two shinobis continued to stare at the disguised Naruto, who was still frozen from the shock at what he had done, in disbelief. Shuda appeared carrying a struggling Shien over his shoulder. What the hell is going on here? Cried Shuda when he saw the scene in front of him. Why the hell are you fools chasing after this imposter when I have High Priestess daughter here? What? But how can that be when we've been fighting her here? Spoke Ken as he pointed to the disguised Naruto, who was now getting over his shock at what he had done. Then she must be a fake, said Maku, as he suddenly realized that they had been fooled. Shien, cried Naruto when he got over his shock and saw his friends being held by Shuda. Let her go, cried Naruto as he stood and glared angrily at Shuda, who just smirked. Who's going to make me, you? Ha, I'd like to see you try, kid. You also might as well get rid of the disguise. We know you're the fake, sneered Shuda as he looked down at him. Realizing that the charade was up, Naruto realized his henge to reveal his true self. Just as I thought, you're the Shien little playmate, the healer's son. Naruto-kun, run away before they capture you, cried Shien as she struggled against Shuda hold on her. No, I won't leave and abandon you, Shien-chan, answered Naruto as he glared angrily at Shuda. How sweet, you care about your little friend, but you should listen to her, boy, or just run away earlier, you might have lived then. But since you didn't and because you have caused us so much trouble, you will have to die, sneered Shuda. Shuda, don't underestimate the boy, he more dangerous than he looks. Look at what he did to Kame, warned Maku. All that shows me is that you shinobis are not as strong as you have everyone else believe, considering that you were defeated a mere 8-year-old. I finish him off so that we can finally get out of here. We wasted enough time as it is, said Shuda as he drew his sword with his one free arm. Knowing that he did not have much time and could not make a direct attack against Shuda without risk hurting Shien, Naruto decided to try a jutsu that he had been working on for the past few months. The jutsu was one he had created himself but had no real luck at being able to use it, but he knew this was his only shot at saving Shien and stopping Shuda. Please let this work, pleaded Naruto in his mind as he did 3 hand signs and slammed both his hands on the ground and channeled his chakra into the ground and cried out. Mokuton, Mokashoku would release, wooden tentacles. After which dozens of wooden tentacles from the tree nearby came out of the ground, started to wrap around Shuda's body, forcing him to let go of Shien and dropping his sword and then pulling him to one of the trees behind him. Mokuton. He did it again, he really can use the Mokuton power of the Shodaime Hokage, though, a stunned Maku. WWWH, what the hell, what's going on? Shouted Shuda as struggled against the wooden tentacles that pulled his to the tree behind him, and wrapped themselves around his body and month once he was against the tree. Once Shuda was wrapped up in the wooden tentacles, Naruto quickly went over to Shien to see if she was okay. Shien-chan, are you okay? Asked the worried Naruto as he helped her up. Hi, I think so, then come, we have to run before those other 2 ninja guys come after us, spoke Naruto as he pulled Shien with him and started to run. But unfortunately they did not get far before Maku and Ken captured them by throwing their shurikens, which quickly wrapped around their bodies and legs and stopping the children from running any further. As the two children tired to struggle free, the two amnins came and walked up to them. Once they got to them, Ken turned to Maku. So what do we do with the boy? We will take him with us back to Omegakure. What? But why? After all the trouble he caused us and after killing Kame, we should just kill here and now. Don't be a fool, you saw what the boy was able to do and how well he fought, not to mention he has the Mokuton powers of the Shodaime Hokage. If we bring him back to Am and present him to Hanzo-sama, we will be heroes, since we would have brought him a child with the powers of Mokuton. Plus, considering how strong he is now, imagine how strong he would be once he was properly trained by Hanzo-sama, and if we got him to be loyal to our village, he could help Am become the 6th great shinobi power. Not to mention he could start up a clan full of Mokuton users in Am, helping it to become as great as Konoha, just like the Senju clan did for them, spoke Maku with earnest. After hearing this, Ken could not help but agree with Maku, since the boy could be the key to Am gaining untold amount of power and glory. Not to mention if you combined his power with their leader Hanzo, then Am would become powerful enough to challenge even Konoha. After that, both the Am ninjas agreed that once they brought Shien to the Sawa Daimyo, he would bring Naruto back to Am with them. But just when the two Amnins were about to pick up the two struggle children, Maku saw something heading towards them at the corner of his eye and quickly shouted, "Move," to Ken, where they jumped away. As soon as they had moved, they saw that the object that was about to hit them was a massive tree that was thrown at them. When the tree flew past them and the children crashed into several more trees nearby and destroyed them completely. What hell, though, both Amnins when they saw that the object was a tree. Once the tree crashed into the other trees, the two Amnins started to look around as to who or what had thrown that tree at them. When they started to look around, they quickly saw who had thrown the tree, since the person had appeared right next to the two tied-up children. When they saw who the person was, their faces quickly went ghost white and both of them took several steps back in fear. For right before them was none other than Senju Tsuande, the Slug Princess and one of the Densetsu no Sanin, legendary 3 ninja, but what scared the Amnins the most was that she looked furious beyond words. But if the Amnin thought they were in trouble before, what Naruto said next made them wish they had never laid eyes on Naruto. Ka-chan. Once they heard Naruto utter those words, the two ninjas knew they were dead men. Tsuande of the Sanin had a child, though Ken in surprise and in fear, since he knew what would most likely happen to him now. The boy is the son of Tsuande. No wonder the boy is so strong and has Mokuton powers of the Shodaime Hokage, he's his descendant. No matter what, we need to get back to Am fast and report this to Hanzo-sama immediately, though Maku. But just as he had finished thinking that, he made eye contact with the vengeful-looking Tsunade and nearly shitted himself from the murder look in her eyes. He then knew that the chances of them escaping, let alone surviving, were very, very slim. As Tsunade glared at the two terrified Amnins, Shizune quickly appeared behind her with her senbon needles out and ready. Right next to her was also Tonton, who looked ready to fight as well. Shizune, take Naruto and Shien away from here. They don't need to see what I about to do to these bastards, spoke Tsuande without taking her eyes off the two nins. Hi Tsuande-sensei, replied Shizune as she quickly picked up the two tied-up children and ran off to somewhere safe with Tonton following behind her. As Shizune ran off carrying the children to safety, Tsunade then focused her full attention of the two Amnins. You bastards made 2 mistakes today. The first was that you bastards took the job that the daimyo of Sawa no Kuni hired for, and the second was, you threated and attacked my son, spoke Tsuande as he roared the last part and released a massive amount of killing intent that practically made the Amnins shit themselves. After which Tsunade then leaped forward into the air and quickly came falling down to the ground, doing a falling axe kick while crying out, Sutenkyaku, painful sky leg, after which she landed right between the two Amnins and created a gigantic crater. Both Ken and Maku barely jump out of the way of the massive attack, but had several large cuts from the debris of the attack. Her strength is monstrous. How can she even be human? It's no wonder she and her former comrades were able to survive battling against Hanzo-sama with power like that, though Ken in both awe and fear of the sight of Tsunade's superhuman strength. Shit, we have to get out of here now and fast. We don't stand a chance against one of the Sanin, especially one that is a mother, thought Maku as he knew that a mother protecting its offspring was dangerous enough. But the fact that Tsunade was both a mother and a cage-level shinobi made her 10 times more dangerous than she usually was, and the worst type of person anyone would want to face against. Ken. We have to get away from here now. We're no match for her, shouted Maku to his comrade, who nodded and was about to run, but before he could, Tsunade appeared right of him and delivered a massive uppercut, breaking his jaw and sending him flying into the air. After which, before Ken could even register what had happened to him, Tsunade appeared again over him in midair and delivered another massive falling axe kick, hurtling him down to the ground and creating a massive crater and killing him, as well as breaking every bone in his body at the same time. Once Maku saw what happened to Ken, he tried to run but was stopped by some senbon needles hitting him in the back of both his legs and causing him to fall forward to the ground. When he turned around to pull the needles out, he was just able to see Tsunade falling towards him from the air with her fist smashing down into him. Once her fist connected with Maku, his body exploded from the sheer power of her strength, where Tsunade was then left in the middle of yet another massive crater, but this time covered in the blood of one of the Amnins. After dealing with the two remaining Amnins, Tsunade turned and looked over to the impaled Kame. Once she saw that he was impaled with a wooden spear, she quickly realized what must have happened. After which a new surge of rage came over her and she began to wish that she could bring the Amnins back to life just so that she could kill him again, but this time slower and more painful for what they forced her innocent son to do. After she had disposed of the Amnins' bodies and stripped them of anything useful, Tsunade then turned again to the struggling Shuda, who was trying, but failing, to get out of the wooden binds. As he struggled, he saw the blood-covered Tsunade heading towards him. As she slowly walked over to him, he could feel a potent killer intent coming from her, as well as see a dark menacing aura surrounding her. This made her seem like she was some goddess of death, which was made more believable to Shuda due to the fact that she was covered in blood and he had seen her butcher Ken and Maku with frightening ease. As she came up to him, a pungent stench could be smelled coming from him and a large wet spot seen between his legs. Once Tsunade reached Shuda, she grabbed him by the neck and forcefully pulled him out of the wooden binds and held him up with a vice-like grip around his neck. You should consider yourself very, very lucky that I'm not going to kill you, since if I was I would do it very slowly for trying to harm my son and Shien. But since I need you right now, I'm going to let you live for now, since I want you to tell me what the daimyo of Sawa wanted you to do, and if you have, better no lie to me. Because I know if you do, and if you try, I will turn you inside out and throw you into a vat of salt. Are we clear? Spoke Tsunade, to which Shuda just nodded and started to spill his guts to Tsunade. A half hour later, after Shizune had taken the children with her, she ran off to a clearing a bit away from where she and Tsunade had found the children. She then untied them and after hugging Naruto tightly for still being safe, she began to check the children over for any injuries, which thankfully were minor with small cuts and bruises. When Shizune had finishing looking over the two children, she asked Naruto to tell them what happened, but when she asked Naruto, he refused to speak or even look at her, as if he was ashamed of doing something. Seeing this, Shizune grew concerned and tried to get Naruto to speak, but he wouldn't say a word. Shizune then asked Shien to tell her what had happened. At first Shien was unsure if she should tell what had happened, but when Shizune pleaded her and she saw the concerned look on her face, Shien decided to tell Shizune. Shien then began to tell Shizune everything that happened about how the guards were ambushed and how they were chased by the Amnins. As well as when Naruto knocked her out and disguised himself as her, and then how she was captured and how she was brought to where Naruto was fighting the Amnins and how he defended her until Tsunade had arrived. When Shizune heard Shien's side of the story, she could not help but feel a mixture of emotions after hearing the story. Although she was extremely proud of her godson, little brother, nephew for protecting his friend and being so brave. She was even amazed that Naruto was able to hold off 3 fully trained Chunins by himself and was able to create and use a Mokuton jutsu that he himself created by himself without any help. But still she was extremely angry at him for putting himself in harm's way, by acting as a decoy for the Amnins to following him where he could have been killed. But Shizune held off her anger since she still did not have the whole picture as to what had happened, since she still did not yet know what fully happened in the fight between Naruto and the Amnins, since Shien was not there to see it. Shizune then went over to Naruto and gently put her hand on Naruto's shoulder, who flinched slightly at her touch, and spoke to him gently. Naruto, I know you don't want to talk about it, but please tell me, since I want to help you, since I know something bad must have happened to you between those ninjas and you. I would like to know what happened there as well, spoke a familiar female voice. When the group heard the voice, they all quickly turned around and saw Tsunade, not covered in blood since she used a water jutsu to wash away the blood, dragging her unconscious Shuda behind her. Sensei, are you alright? What happened to the Amnins? Asked Shizune. I'm fine Shizune and those bastards have been dealt with, replied Tsunade simply. Now as I was saying, I would also like to know what happened, although I have heard most of what happened from this bastard, where Tsunade lifted the unconscious shooter and then dropped him on the ground, and I have a fair idea of what happened, I still like to hear it from you Naru-chan. Even after his mother asked to hear what Naruto did not answer and continued to look ground, and just when Tsunade was about to ask him again Naruto suddenly spoke up. If I tell you, you will hate me and think I'm a monster, and said Naruto with tears in his eyes, and before he could say any more he was suddenly enveloped into a strong hug by his mother. Sush, Naru-chan, I could never hate you and you have never done anything wrong in your life, we all just want to help you, that's why you should tell us. Because if you bottle it all up it will hurt you later on, talking about things like this to people usually help. For the next few minutes Naruto said nothing and just cried in his mother's arms, but after a while he stopped. He then told them everything from how he led the Amnins away and fought them, to how he killed the Amnin, came with his Mokuton powers and protected Shien. When Naruto was finished he then looked to his mother with tear-stained eyes. I sorry Ka-chan, I didn't mean to kill that man, it was an accident, I swear please don't hate me, said the upset Naruto. The next thing Naruto knew he was enveloped is another strong hug by his mother who was now crying herself. You don't need to be sorry Naru-chan, it wasn't your fault, you didn't do anything wrong, if anyone to blame it's them for forcing you to do it and me for not being there to protect you when you needed me. As the mother and Sa cried in each other's arms Shizune and Shien watched them, since neither of them wanted to interfere. As Shien watched Tsuande and Naruto she herself started to cry, since she blamed herself for what happened, since it was her idea to go out here and it resulted in her guards being killed and her friend having to kill someone. Shizune was also crying a little, and when she saw Shien crying and blaming herself she went over to comfort the poor girl, since she believed it was all her fault at what happened. Thankfully Shizune convinced her that it wasn't her fault, but the girl continued to cry a little. As she did Shizune looked over Shooter and could not help but glare angrily at the unconscious man. Since if there was anyone to blame it was him, since he was the one who told the Amnins where to attack. As he glared at the man she wished that she could get her hand on the man and perform surgery on the man, while he was awakened without any aesthetics, and remove his organs one by one for putting the children in harm's way, since she hated when children were harmed, and for making her godson nephew, little brother, kill a man. After a while when everyone had calmed down a bit Tsunade, Shien, Shizune, Naruto, Tonton and the unconscious Shooter who was being dragged by Tsuande by his left foot walk out of the forest. When they were out of the forest they were met by the High Priestess Miraku along with 80 royal guards and 20 samurai. Oka-san, cried Shien when she saw her mother with the royal guards and samurai. Shien, cried Miraku when she saw her daughter and quickly ran over to her and hugged her tightly. Thank the heavens that you safe, said Miraku, after which she then turned to Tsunade, who was under her special genjutsu henge again along with Shizune. Thank you Hana-san, too, not only did you save my life, but also the life of my daughter, I'm forever in your debt. Do not thank me High Priestess, thank my son Naruto, he was the one that protected her until I had arrived, and had he not, it would be certain that she would be in the hands of those shinobis and on her way to Sawa no Kuni now, replied Tsunade. What exactly did the daimyo of Sawa no Kuni want with my daughter, asked the High Priestess slightly angrily, since she wanted answers. He wanted to take over your country and absorb it into his own, since with you dead your country would be without a leader and be easy to take over. When the first attempt had failed he had the Amnins and this Shooter bastard to kidnap your daughter and hold her from ransom. They have you go to a certain place with minimum guards and kill you, after that they would bring Shien to the Sawa daimyo, and when she reached marrying age he would marry her. So that when he took over your country it would be a legal takeover, since Shien is your daughter and rightful ruler of Oni no Kuni, not to mention he want your bloodline power to see into the future, finished Tsunade, since she found the whole plan disgusting, and when she first heard it she punched Shooter lights out. He will pay this, spoke the high priest furiously, as want to make the man pay for what he done. Here. This will be very useful in handling him, said Tsuande as she tossed a rolled up scroll to the Miraku. What is it? Asked the Miraku as she caught the scroll. It's a letter from the daimyo of Sawa to this bastard, said Tsunade pointing to Shooter again, stating for him to help with the kidnapping of your daughter Shien and the assassination on you. The idiot had it on him when I searched him. This will prove what the daimyo of Sawa no Kuni tried to do, and if you release the news what happened here in this letter proving the Sawa daimyo underhanded tactics, which will put him in a bad spot with the other nations. Especially with Konoha since you are our ally and I don't think he will want to mess with both Oni no Kuni, its allied nations and Konoha all at once so it will have to sue for peace on your terms. Thank you Hana-san I owe you much, said Miraku to Tsunade after which she then kneeled due to Naruto to face him, and I owe you even more Naruto-san thank you for protecting Shien. You're welcome Miraku-san, said Naruto quietly with a sad and weak smile, which caused the High Priestess to ask Tsunade what happened since he was not himself. When she asked Tsunade told her that Naruto had accidentally killed one of the ninjas when he fought them. At this the High Priestess gasped and unshed tear threatened to fall, as her heart went out to the poor boy, since no child should have to do what he had to do. This just made anger at the daimyo of Sawa grow and swore she make the man pay heavily for what he had done. I'm truly sorry for what you had to do Naruto and I will not forget my debt to you, thank you, spoke the High Priestess, as she knelt down and hugged Naruto in gratitude for what he done for her and her daughter. After she got up she had her guards take Shuda from Tsunade and place him in the dungeon under heavy guard when they reached the estate, and be kept there until he was fully interrogated and was tried for treason. After the guards took Shuda away the group started to head back together to the estate. Later on a month after the event with the attempted kidnapping of Shien things started to settle down. News of the failed kidnapping attempt on Shien spread, although information on Naruto and Tsunade involvement was kept secret per Tsunade request. When the allied countries of Oni no Kuni, which included Konoha, learned of the daimyo of Sawa attempt of kidnapping the High Priestess daughter with the letter proving his involvement, they immediately started to put heavy politically pressure on both the daimyo and his country. They threatened to place an embargo on the country as well as threatening to declare war if he did not make heftily compensations for what he had done. Eventually the daimyo of Sawa no Kuni complied and had to give a very large sum of money to High Priestess and give up rights to several territories and hand them over to the rule of Oni no Kuni. During that time Naruto, Tsunade, Shizune and Tonton continued to stay in the estate to monitor the High Priestess' health until she fully recovered, as well as to help Naruto deal with what had happened. It had took a while but eventually Shizune and Tsunade with a little help from Shien helped Naruto come to terms with what he had done and deal with it. Afterwards Tsuande even let Naruto keep her necklace since she had a feeling that it would be useful to Naruto later on in his life. Once Naruto had come to terms with it Tsunade decided that it was time for them to start moving again. Must you leave? You are all more than welcome here and both Oni no Kuni and myself owes all of you much, spoke High Priestess Miraku. Indeed we can never thank you enough, spoke Haru who had recovered from his wounds. Yes, considering what happened earlier, if we stay we might draw attention on ourselves, which is something that we wish to avoid as we have told you, so I think it would best if we leave, replied Tsunade. Very well then, but know that you are all more than welcome to come back again, for you are all honored heroes here and when the time is right everyone in Oni no Kuni will know of it, said the High Priestess. Thank you, we shall return one day, replied Shizune as she bowed slightly. We look forward to that day, since we can then honor both you Tsunade-sama and you Naruto-sama properly for saving both Shien-san and Lady Miraku, spoke Tatuho as he bowed respectfully to them. I going to miss you Naruto-kun, you were my best friend, said Shien sadly as tears began to fall down her eyes since she was losing her only real friend. What do you mean by we're best friends? We are still best friends and noting going to change that, spoke Naruto as he went to Shien. Here this is for your Shien-chan, said Naruto as he handed Shien a small potted Satsuki azalea bonsai tree that he had hidden behind his back. This is something for you so that you can remember me by. It's a Satsuki azalea bonsai tree that are not that many, since they are hard and slow to grow but it was no problem for me. The adults of the group of the two groups could not help but smile as they saw Naruto give the small bonsai tree to a blushing but smiling Shien, who took from him. It beautiful thank you Naruto-kun, said Shien as she then did something that surprised everyone especially Naruto. She gave him a soft but gentle kiss on his left cheek. When Miraku saw this she was surprised at first like the rest but that turned quickly to a smile especially when Shien moved away and Naruto began to blush red from what she had done. The High Priestess even giggled like a schoolgirl when she saw that her daughter was now as red as a cherry from what she had done and had her head down trying to hide it. It seems that Shien has a little crush on Naruto, though Miraku as she giggled again and thought how cute the two would be if they got together. Both Haru and Tatuho were equally surprised but then smiled. When Shizune saw this she could not help but giggle as well. They look so cute, thought Shizune, Naruto going to get a lot of teasing about this from me later on. Even Tonton cried, oink, in laughter of what happened. The only person that was not laughing or smiling was Tsunade. Just great, it already started. These little harpies are already trying to steal my innocent Naru-chan from me, though Tsunade as she started to grumble, but if she thinks she can sink her claws on him then she got another thing coming. After that Tsunade and the others started to walk away as they did the High Priestess, Tatuho, Haru and Shien waved goodbye to them. After Tsunade, Naruto, Shizune and Tonton were out of sight, the High Priestess and the other head back into the estate. As they did, the High Priestess suddenly turned her head slightly and spoke to her daughter, well Shien, now that you have gotten yourself a little boyfriend, when should I start planning the wedding? Oka-san, cried an embarrassed Shien as her mother along with Tatuho and Haru laughed at the young girl's bright red face. Well, Naru-chan, you're growing up to be quite the little ladies' man since you already got your first girlfriend, soon enough you have loads girls chasing after you, giggled Shizune. Oink, cried Tonton in agreement. Can it Nei-chan, Shien not my girlfriend, cried a still red Naruto, I just hope that Shien-chan kissed doesn't have any cooties. Author's note, come on, he only 8 and all boys at that age think girls have cooties. Well, didn't you say that she was your friend and she is a girl, so that means she is your girlfriend, isn't it, teased Shizune. She not my girlfriend, I mean she is a girl, and she is my friend, but that doesn't mean that she my girlfriend, I mean it does. But that is, but she is, Argush, cried Naruto as he held his head in confusion at what he was trying to say. While Shizune just giggled at embarrassing the poor boy. Maybe we should give Naru-chan that talk, Tsunade-sensei, asked Shizune innocently, although smirking at the reaction she knew Tsunade would have. Over my dead drunken body, cried Tsunade, there's no way I'm going to let any of those little harlots try and corrupt my sweet baby. While at the same time thinking, this wasn't happen so soon, things like this wasn't supposed to happen till puberty, I'm not ready, I'm too young to deal with this. At this Shizune just laughed at Tsuande's reaction and continued to tease and annoy both her and Naruto about Shien kiss for the rest of the day. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.